The following is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC. The quiet fields cross-hatching America's Midwest cloak a twisting storm brewing beneath a clear summer sky. Beating in the heart of America, cut from a horizon of corn, lies a concrete field of dreams. A short-track masterpiece designed by a legend, revered by drivers and fans alike. This D-oval centrifuge clocks the fastest laps on the circuit. How fast? EKG thumping fast. With last week's win at the Milwaukee Mile, Ryan Hunter-Reay seeks to match last year's three-race trifecta that ignited his IndyCar Series title run. But with less than 80 points separating the top 5 drivers, he's not the only one chasing this corn-fed dream. A young track seemingly carved from an Iowa field, with the precision of lightning and the force of thunder, welcomes a pack of drivers ready to weather whatever it brings. Hold on, there's something roaring in the field.
Welcome to America's Heartland. We're in Newton, Iowa, just northeast of Des Moines for race number 10 in the 2013 IndyCar Series schedule. It's 250 laps on a fast bull ring that measures 7/8 of a mile. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with us. We're at the halfway point of the 19-race schedule. We've had 7 different winners in the previous 9 races. 2 of the powerhouses, Team Penske and Chip Ganassi Racing, have just 1 win between them. How would you grade the teams at midterm? Well, Professor Scott Goodyear and Eddie Cheever will give their marks on who's passing and who's falling short so far a little bit later. Also, Andretti Autosport has 4 wins this year, and Ryan Hunter-Reay looks like he is back in championship form. He won 3 in a row last year on his way to the title and is 1/3 of the way from doing it again after winning last week at Milwaukee. Can he repeat the three-peat? Meanwhile, there is a reason Helio Castroneves leads the points. He's the only driver in the series to have completed every lap of every race this year. Still, he has only 1 win, and that was at Texas. He's looking for more. Oh, and one last item. Qualifying is different at Iowa. It's old-school heat races to set the field. And as we bring in Eddie Cheever and Scott Goodyear, these 24 drivers, well, they've done a lot of racing yesterday in the heat.
And it was hot. It was over 90 degrees. The track was very slippery. The first race that we had, everybody was a little bit tentative. But as we went on, when we got to the last, the 3rd race, they were side by side, lap after lap after lap. At one point, I just closed my eyes and said, you just cannot keep doing that.
And we talked about this. It's a bull ring. When you run these racetracks, you're side by side, lap after lap. As we saw, it's excitement, but it's also fearful. And for us here today watching up top, you and I cringed a couple of times yesterday in the heat races. I think we'll be doing that again today.
And there were points at stake. Let's show you just how many. In fact, the man who won the heat race number 3, Helio Castroneves, picked up 9 points in the championship hunt. You can see the breakdown all the way down through the winners of Heat 1 and 2. Let's show you what those 2 were talking about. Let's go to heat race number 1. Now, this was the hottest part of the day. Tale of 2 target cars. That is Anna Beatrice going around Dario Franchitti. Franchitti's car just was a handful. We'll be talking to him later, and he'll give us the update on what is happening there. At the other end, it was Scott Dixon, who ended up taking the win in heat race number 1. And here were the results as Scott Dixon and Takuma Sato advanced with finishing 1st and 2nd into heat race number 3. Now, what happened in heat race number 2? Well, this one, watch Pagenaud, Simon Pagenaud in that 77 blue and white HP car. Man, he just worked the outside, and another guy who picked up on that was Graham Rahal. Rahal in the 15th goes underneath Pagenaud to take over 2nd spot, but then worked the high side to go around Ed Carpenter to take the lead and went on to win heat race number 2. One bad note. It was James Jakes hitting the wall, and that was Rahal's teammate as he had damage to that car. You can see a very happy Bobby Rahal as Graham brought it home, and he advanced into heat race number 3, as did Ed Carpenter. And what happened in that all-exciting heat race number 3? Well, Helio Castroneves started on point after single car qualifying, and he led every lap, but that doesn't tell the tale as far as what was going on behind him, as there was tons of action. Here is Will Power coming through the field, going around James Hinchcliffe to take second. He would end up now starting on pole. We'll explain more on that a little bit later. And here is wheels touching between Helio Castroneves and put Oriol Servia a lap down. And there was Helio very happy because he knew he had just picked up 9 points in the championship chase by winning heat race number 3. Now, Will Power, because of the 10-position penalty, Helio had to change an engine after qualifying. Helio's going to start 11th. Will Power moves into the point position. And let's catch up with him, Vince.
Well, Marty, Will Power got out of that car yesterday after that heat race looking like he'd run a marathon. It was just a 50-lapper. How grueling physically is this racetrack?
Yeah, it's very. It's just that you're pulling 4.5 Gs, and you're hardly ever not pulling 4.5 Gs because you're just always in a corner. The heat made it worse. It's definitely cooler today. That's going to give the cars more grip, though. But you know, I was pretty happy with the car yesterday. It was very strong. I just hope it's the case today.
Well, he's going to start it from the pole. Will Power heads up out front. He'll start in the pole position.
And he wants to forget the last 2 years here because he crashed both of those seasons. Helio Castroneves leads the points by 25 now. Ryan Hunter-Reay did not make it into that final heat race. That's why he dropped 9 more points. We'll talk to both of them when we come back to Iowa.
ESPN's coverage of the Iowa Corn Indy 250 on ABC. Brought to you by the Iowa Corn Promotion Board and Iowa Corn Growers Association. Fill up like the pros. Choose ethanol.
Welcome to the Iowa Speedway. Some might call this the middle of nowhere. Small town USA. But to the IndyCar series, it feels like home. And if you'll allow us an Iowa Hollywood cliche, yeah, they built it. And oh, baby, have they come.
Iowa is unique because it is a short oval, but we almost run it like a super speedway.
One of the misconceptions is that it races like a short track, because with the high banks there, it almost races like a mile and a half.
Iowa is like Texas, but you just shrink everything. Everything happens even quicker.
Most ovals, it's harder on your mind than it is on your body. In Iowa, it's both.
There's a lot of bumps. It makes it really interesting.
Those bumps, obviously, they're part of the track, and those bumps are tough.
You got to trust the car, and you got to trust that when you hit that bump, the rear going to stays on. You know, there is only one way to find out. It's to go through.
And Helio has been going through quite well this year, thank you. Look at this, tied for, then held the lead for the last 3 races. It's 25 over Ryan Hunter-Reay after yesterday's heat races. The only driver to complete every lap this season, and he has completed all but 7 of the 1,500 laps ever run here at Iowa. Rick DeBrule has caught up earlier with our points leader.
Helio Castroneves did everything he needed to do yesterday to ensure a great race today. That's the fact that you were fastest single car qualifying. You were fastest in the qualifying heat, but you had to change an engine last night, which means you had a 10-position penalty. Can you win this race starting that far back?
Well, obviously, it's not the way where you start, it's where you finish. And hopefully we have a good enough car to go to the front. We've got to be patient. It's very tough to pass here. The track seems to be suitable to everyone, especially because of the banking. The weather seems to help as well. So it's going to be a challenge, but I have no doubt in my Hitachi guys and crew, and hopefully we're going to be in good shape.
All right, let's talk championship. Now, your buddy Tony Kanaan used to be, he had the championship, but you had the 500 victories. Now he's got both. Is that extra pressure on you to win a championship?
I'm not thinking about him, to be honest. That would be a great story, to be honest. In the end of the day, he got what he deserved, and hopefully I can get what I possible one day deserve. But in the end of the day, I'm fighting right now. Each race is a big race, and this is not going to be different.
And 50 points today with a victory would be really nice for Helio. Now the man who's chasing him, well, he's with Jamie Little.
Well, Rick, 1 year ago at this very race, Ryan Hunter-Reay took the win, and it set the table for his first championship.
This will be another big one for Ryan Hunter-Reay with a final stint. It was all Ryan Hunter-Reay. He will be a 2-time winner at the Milwaukee Mile.
Have about 2 in a row for Ryan Hunter-Reay. Wow. Andretti cars are on a roll right now.
It's all Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan Hunter-Reay is going to win his third straight. Ryan Hunter-Reay will go to victory lane.
That Sundrop DHL car is hooked up.
Ryan Hunter-Reay seems to be the dominant race car.
Rarely has he put a wheel wrong today.
Ryan Hunter-Reay is the winner at the Milwaukee Indy Fest.
And what an impressive performance it was here 1 year ago. So looking back, how important is it for you to capitalize on this race today?
Well, it's important because this is one of our strongest races, you know, and we're coming off a Milwaukee win again. Last weekend, we were able to duplicate that, so hopefully we'll be able to do it this time around. But yesterday was one of those days where just nothing went right for us, you know. We just didn't get the balance right. We missed something in practice, missed it in qualifying, and then definitely missed it in the heat race. But we're starting 12th, and I think we definitely have one of the best cars under us, so I'm pretty confident. It's a long race, and I think it's going to be action-packed, so I'm ready. Try that high line out maybe in the beginning and see where it goes.
Well, you guys definitely tried some different setups. What did the team do to get your car right today?
Well, I'll let you know after the race, but I'm not sure. I'm not even sure we have it right yet. I'm confident that we do, though. I mean, we went somewhere in the middle of all of our teammates. You know, each one of us was a little bit different on setup, but we had some discrepancies that weren't really making sense yesterday. So we had to bring it back to the garage, figure that out, and it shortened our practice time. We didn't get a good qual sim. Anyway, long story short, we just missed it. And then luckily today's the day that pays the most points. We missed out on some good points to Elio yesterday. He's certainly been very strong, but I'm confident we'll go out there today and give him heck. I mean, it was a great race last year and one that we only turned on strong at the end. So that's all you need to do is lead at the end.
All right, Ryan Hunter-Reay starting 12th, Marty.
And you heard him mention those points that he missed because he did not make it to heat race number 3. He lost 9 more to Elio Castroneves, so now he is 25 back. Marco Andretti 53 back, and Takuma Sato has now been tied by Scott Dixon because of Dixon's performance. Those two are 82 markers behind. Only 2 teams have won at Iowa. Andretti Autosport, led by that man, Michael Andretti, and Chip Ganassi Racing. But only one team has a win in 2013. Scott and Eddie give their midseason grades when we come back to Iowa Speedway.
Well, now, what do we have here? An IndyCar team with 4 wins in 9 races and 2 drivers in the top 3. Now, it's not one of the 2 teams we're used to seeing up top, but the name on that team is second to none. Andretti.
It definitely has been a wild and crazy season so far as we reach the halfway point. Only 2 repeat winners, both from Andretti Autosport, James Hinchcliffe and Ryan Hunter-Reay. But also, we've had 7 different winners in just the last 7 races alone. Love the 10-gallon hat on Elio, don't you? And, of course, we've had 3 first-time winners, James Hinchcliffe, Takuma Sato, and that man right there, Simon Pagenaud. So what about midterm grades? Well, how about we check in with our own Professor Scott Goodyear and our version of Dean Wormer, Eddie Cheever.
Thank you, Marty. And now it's time for the mid-season grade report, and we're going to have a little bit of fun grading all the teams, Eddie, and you get to go first with Team Penske.
It's always impossible to give a grade to Penske because everything they've done is almost P. I think P stands for perfect, and they've done everything perfectly throughout their career. But I have to go with the B+. They didn't capitalize on what they had in the beginning of the season. They're getting stronger, and I think they're going to be a serious contender for the season.
Certainly coming on stronger. I'm going to give them a B only because we expect a lot out of Team Penske, and we've probably not seen that yet this year until just recently. So Andretti, and I'm going to give them an A+, only from the fact that Michael Andretti is doing a lot right now, not only just being a team owner, 4 cars in the series, 5 cars at Indianapolis, a promoter also, a lot going on with him. I think he's done a great job, and he's now really the team to beat, so I'm going to give him an A+.
And you love Mario, but I agree with it, A+.
Well, there you go. Well, Mario and I have had our spats on the racetrack. There's no doubt about that. Foyt.
I drove for Foyt. I think it's an incredible story. He is a centerpiece to everything that is IndyCar racing and oval. I say a B. They could have got it a little bit better, and they could have had an A+, but a B.
Okay, and I'm going to give them a B+ simply from the fact they've done a lot with a small team and done a great job on selecting a driver. Ganassi, I'm going to go with a C, and a lot of people might say, well, why didn't you give him a better grade? Well, simply from the fact that we expect a lot out of them also, and both those drivers have not won races yet, and they've got Indy 500 champions and champions from series in their roster, and they've not really been able to deliver, and so I'll go with a C.
I'm going to go with a C+. They have a Honda engine which has not been as strong as a Chevy engine, and I think that's tied them back.
Okay, and KV?
KV, I'm an old-fashioned sort of guy. They won the Indy 500. To me, that makes not just a year, but a career. And I have to give them an A+. And they've had a good season, but they just nailed it when they had to.
They did. I'm going to give them a C+. I like your comment about being old-fashioned. I would agree with you on that one. But C+ only from the fact that maybe the other races, they've not really lived up to their expectation. Schmidt, I'm going to give them a C simply from the fact that I think the team has not performed as well as they did last year. We expected to see Simon Pagenaud being more competitive. Earlier this year, has won at Detroit. I think was a great job, but I think they're not as good as they should have been. I'll give them a C.
C+.
Okay, well, I like that. Dale Coyne Racing.
Nobody ever expected them to do what they did in Detroit. I'm going to give them a B-.
Okay, I'll give them a B+. I think that I agree with you simply from the fact that everybody expected not too much out of them, but they delivered. Motors, I'm going to go and say Chevrolet A+, and Honda, I'm going to give them a B. What is your rating?
I would go with the A+ for Chevy, and I don't know, that engine thing, I'd probably go a little bit lower than that.
Well, I guess maybe the question is, some of the Honda teams, what would they have been able to do this season if they had a Chevy? Because we believe Chevy has more horsepower. So that's going to take care of all the teams that have actually won races this year. So we'll be interested to see who ends up winning the championship, because right now it seems to be a great battle.
It certainly does, and Marco Andretti wants to be a part of that battle, and this is one of his favorite tracks here at Iowa. We'll be talking to him. Dario Franchitti, he is not glad at all. Boy, his qualifying yesterday, he was just angry all the way around. At the other end, though, his teammate Scott Dixon, last 5 races, he's never been lower than 6th here at Iowa. And Oriol Servia looking good as he tries to help turn around Panthers Racing's fortunes. Stay with us.
Because it's so short and because it's such high bank, the G's are incredible.
The first few laps that you run around there with the G-forces and stuff, you get out of the car and you're a little dizzy.
It's almost like a circle rather than an oval.
In the corners, we're up to 4 Gs. You can't breathe normally under those conditions, right? So you're kind of holding your breath to the corner. You're holding your breath either end of the racetrack.
I'm like pulling and keep too focused on where you gotta go.
You straighten up just a little bit for a second, you're back in the corner and you hold your breath again. The entire race is... You get dizzy when you slow down on cautions, and it's a trip, man. That's a really physical little racetrack.
Great description by James Hinchcliffe. Here's what the drivers experience. 4.5 Gs, and that's about 11 seconds per lap at that load. So at 200 laps, that's 37 minutes of G loading, and you get 3 seconds of rest per lap on the backstretch, as he says, to breathe. Unbelievable forces. Now let's go on board with Marco Andretti. Take us through what this really does feel like.
This is such a difficult thing to explain to somebody because it's hard to let them understand what that much weight means. What happens is you have to resist this pressure to throw you out of the race car every time you're in a corner. You cannot relax in the middle of the corner, and over a certain number of laps, it just wears you down.
And as we're riding along with Marco right now, really he's by himself on the racetrack. But in racing, you have to contend with the car that's in front of you, maybe giving you some disturbed air, making your car react differently on the track. Also, you've got a couple of guys barking at your back door, trying to pass you, so you're looking in the mirrors. All this is going on when you really have to make sure that you're running the perfect race car line going around the racetrack to keep your own speed up.
We also didn't throw in the bumps, especially over the tunnel that ends up trying to pitch you towards the wall as well. As you can see, here's Takuma Sato getting into the car, and here's what it's like. Takuma weighs 117 pounds. So when he's loading into that corner through his entire body, from the tips of his toes to the top of his head, he's feeling about 526 pounds of force. Ryan Hunter-Reay at 175 has 787 pounds trying to literally push him out of the race car. Jamie Little caught up with Marco Andretti earlier today.
So much fun riding on board your car. Yesterday in practice, it looks difficult to ride around this track. You guys are going to do it for 250 laps. Why do you like it so much?
I didn't like it yesterday. I think when the car's working, you can really like it because you look a lot better than your competitors. It really rewards you if you're able to get a good car underneath you, which I think we've done today. We were kind of experimenting yesterday in the heat, which is the time to do it. And I think hopefully we've reset some things that can get us a good RC Cola car underneath us.
I know you're well aware, but it's been 2 full years since your last win, and it came right here. Why is it critical for you to end that streak here today?
So we don't keep that streak going. I think, that and it would put us in a tremendous spot for the championship, obviously, depending on where Elio finishes. But, I think good start, good starting position, third. Good effort so far. We've been quick. We need to capitalize. That's all.
Starting third for the third time at Iowa. Let's go to Vince Welch.
Dario Franchitti's the only driver to win here at Iowa more than once. He's a two-time winner here, but boy, this weekend been a challenge. Qualified near the back, last in the heat race. What is going on with that 10 car, Dario?
Yeah, we struggled yesterday. Actually, at the end of practice, we had a pretty decent car, but we made two small changes for the heat race, and it just did not work. Both ends of the car were in trouble, so we couldn't actually fix either of them. So made some small changes, backtracked a bit to what we had in practice, learned a little bit from Scotty here, who was very good in the heat races. So hopefully we get a glad car up front. But you know, being that far back, you got to worry if you don't get on it quickly. If you don't get a great start, you can start looking at going a lap down. So we've got to try and make some moves pretty early.
Well, and as Dario said, his teammate Scott Dixon was much better yesterday. In fact, Scott, you've been very close to winning here in the past. What do you have to have from your race car to be a front runner again today?
You know, I think the last few years, you know, we were pretty quick last year. We led some laps, had a bit of a problem with our belts actually with about 30 to go where they came undone. So, you know, it's a tough place. It's demanding. It changes a lot. Obviously, over the years, we've it's lost some grip and things like that. So, last night in the heat races, first one we won, we struggled a little bit in that towards the end, and then you know, we started from the back in heat 3 and moved up 5 spots. So, car's pretty racy. You know, we'll have to see with the rain this morning whether the track's changed much, but looking forward to getting out there today and having a good go at it. I got to wave to Poppy too back home. She said if I'm on TV, I need to wave to her. So hi, Poppy.
Yeah, take care of business. Well done. And he's going to look to take care of business on the racetrack too. He and Dario both looking for their first win of the season.
Oriole Survey is in the Panther Racing National Guard car this weekend. Second time you've been in the car this weekend, and obviously it's got to be hard for a driver coming in and jumping in, but you were saying it's even harder for the team. Why is that?
Well, it's not really hard for me. As a driver, sometimes you have a race after every week. Sometimes it's 3 weeks in between. I don't know any better. I just jump in the car whenever it's there, and I do my best. For the team, though, you know, they have to the engineers especially have to get used to, you know, my accent and Briscoe's accent, one Australian, one from Barcelona, a little different, and we actually drive very similar, so at least we don't have two different styles. But, you know, listen, we're all trying to make the best out of the situation, trying to give the guy a win like they deserve, and we're working hard at it.
Are we going to see you in this car again?
Yeah, that is a cryptic question, and I think so. I mean, hopefully. I really enjoy working with the team and the opportunity I have and making them proud, so I think we're all working towards that direction.
Obviously, a good finish here would help them stay in that car just a little bit more. Marty?
Okay, thanks, Rick. We got to update you on one thing. We thought we were going to be on time. We had morning rains that were torrential, and it stopped about noon Eastern time, but we have the worrisome weepers that sometimes happen at racetracks. You can see that's what's going on down in turn 3 and 4. They're actually trying to suck some of that moisture from out underneath. And then also down in turn number 1, they had one momentary weeper down there. They're working on it. They're telling us between 5 and 10 minutes. So it'll give us a chance to check in with some other people down on pit lane. Don't go anywhere because we are getting ready to go racing. We'll be back after a word from your ABC stations. As you can see, it looks like some of the work is finally getting finished on those weepers down in turns 3 and 4 here at the Iowa Speedway. Gives us an opportunity to tip our hat to Michael Andretti. His team at this track, with 4 different drivers, has won 4 of the 6 races held here. He's coming off a fine promotion last week where he promoted the Milwaukee Indy Fest. He's got 2 drivers in the top 3 in points, so let's talk to him, Jamie Little.
And 4 total cars on the grid. So based on yesterday, you guys were experimenting, each team just trying different setups. Who do you think has the strongest car today?
I don't know. It's really hard to say, you know, because I think yesterday you have to be careful. It could have really fooled you because you really had no traffic, and really traffic is what makes the racing here, and it really doesn't start until they start catching the back of the field. So I don't know which car is going to be the best, to be honest with you. You know, hopefully one of them.
A lot of unknowns and very relaxed. Michael Andretti. Let's go over to Rick DeBrule.
Well, standing by with another team owner, Bobby Rahal, who sort of has a victory here yesterday. Graham was able to win one of the heat races, and not just win. I mean, he came from the back, decidedly did it. You guys have had your struggles this year. Was it a great boost for the team?
Well, certainly since Indy on the short ovals, we've struggled, and so yesterday, as I said, he really needed it for his own self-confidence. The team needed it, and I really needed it because, you know, you don't want, he's your son, you don't want to mess up his career, do you? So But it was he was very happy with the car in practice. We tried, maybe overreached a little bit in qualifying and got very loose on him. But we went to where we thought we needed to be, and yeah, he was able to pass his way to the front. And, I think he feels pretty good about his car right now.
All right, Bobby Rahal hoping that his son has the car that'll take to get to the front of this pack. Marty?
Great stuff, Rick. And as you can see, turn number 4 is clearing out. It looks like we're going to start engines when we come back to the Iowa Speedway, the Iowa Corn Indy 250.
The quiet fields crosshatching America's Midwest cloak a twisting storm brewing beneath a clear summer sky. This D-oval centrifuge clocks the fastest laps on the circuit. How fast? EKG thumping fast. Hold on. There's something roaring in the field.
We're getting ready for the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Do we get an 8th different winner? Does Chip Ganassi's team get his first win of the season? Or does Ryan Hunter-Reay continue his mid-season charge? Let's find out as we go trackside to get the Iowa Corn Indy 250 started.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now for the most famous words in motorsports, a custom that originated at the greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500. Here to give the command, please welcome once again Mr. Kevin Remp and Ms. Deb Keller.
Drivers, start your corn ethanol-powered engines!
In the IndyCar Series, you've got to talk about Tony Kanaan as being one of the favorites. He's already won the Indianapolis 500 this year and finished on the podium at Texas. Kanaan has been real good this weekend, but he had an understeer issue yesterday. The team believes they've addressed it, and if they've addressed it successfully, Kanaan should be a major factor today. Rick DeBrule?
Well, Dario Franchitti has had some serious highs and lows at this Iowa track. He won his first 2 races here, but last year, despite qualifying on the pole, he ended up not even taking the green flag. His engine blew before he made it that far. And this weekend, well, the car's had some handling problems. Struggled trying to figure out that right setup. As a result, he's not sure what he's got today. So the question is this going to be another career high for Dario Franchitti or a low? We're about to find out. Marty?
For Rick, there'll be no problem for the Honda Izod 2-seater, and you don't have to miss your chance to start an IndyCar Series race in that car. Today it's driven by Ari Leyendijk. For a chance to win, just enter at shophonda.com. And today's lucky fan is Christy Cowart. She's from Austin, Texas, and having the ride of her life. Across the top of your screen, we'll get ready and show you our Iowa Corn starting grid. And as we pointed out, Elio Castroneves started on point, or actually qualified for the pole, but will start back on 11th because of the 10-position penalty for changing engines. Let's meet our onboard cameras. Dario Franchitti with the Honda onboard camera. Should be fun to see if he can cut his way through. Takuma Sato in the number 14 Verizon onboard, and he has live streaming of in-car cameras on the IndyCar 13 mobile app. That's only from Verizon. 83 at Charlie Kimball has the Novo Nordisk on board. The number 4 of Oriol Serbia has the National Guard riding along with him today. Tony Kanaan in the number 11 with the Firestone onboard camera. Marco Andretti with the Iowa Corn on board. And the 6th and final, it'd be James Hinchcliffe with the GoDaddy onboard camera. All right. We want to remind you that the broadcast is available in Spanish. All you have to do is activate your SAP button. It's presented by ESPN Deportes. Now, there might be a little history on the side, not in favor of our front row, Will Power and James Hinchcliffe. You know, guys, in the 6 prior Iowa races, and I find this a little strange, no winner has ever come from the front row.
Well, there's certainly a case for ovals that I always say it's the car's 75% and 25% the driver, as we see here. Grid penalties for Elio Castroneves, Scott Dixon, Takuma Sato, Joseph Newgarden, Anna Beatrice, and James Jakes. If you change an engine, you get a 10-spot penalty. So it took Elio from 1st to 11th, which is the most notable out of that group.
And James Jakes, we should point out, also is in a backup car. He had the one crash yesterday. The only crash in all 3 of the heat races and practice and qualifying. So there he is in the number 16 starting 24th out of the 24-car field. But he should feel good. Remember Simon Pagenaud last year? Started 25th, ended up finishing 5th. So you can cut your way through on the 7/8 mile track.
Yeah, but it's always awkward when you have an accident in a car and the first time you get to race it is with the start of a race. So when you're turning into turn 1, you don't know what you have.
There is Simon Pagenaud. Boy, he looked really good in his heat race yesterday. We'll see if he'll be able to use that highline. And Graham Rahal, keep an eye on that 3rd car on the left side of your screen, that number 15 right there. He really showed everybody that the highline could work as he won his heat race. All right, down the back straightaway, the pace car has pulled off. So is the IZOD IndyCar 2-seater. Will Power down low. James Hinchcliffe up high. They're on the gas. The Iowa Corn Indy 250 is green. 3 wide through turn 1 and 2. That was Ryan Hunter-Ray that was up high there. Side by side on that front row.
Now we're on a completely green track. It's rained really heavily throughout the night. There's no rubber down in this high line. It's slippery at best, but on conditions like right now, Scott, it's even worse.
And I always say these small tracks, it's really a risk versus reward ratio. And right now the guys are really on the risk side of things because, as you mentioned, don't know what the car is going to do, but their foot's fully on the gas.
James Hinchcliffe led the first 2 laps as he was able to get around Will Power on the start of the race. Let's go on board with Marco Andretti. He's in 3rd.
Now look at the suspension, how the rear wheels bounce up and down every time they hit these bumps. It looks like nothing on a TV screen, but in a car around these high bank corners, it gets your attention.
That's Simon Pagenaud down low there on that 77 car. And you see that bump right there? That's the tunnel. Boy, that really gave you a great shot of it.
And the lower down you are on the racetrack, the more the bump affects the race car. And that's why drivers try to stay at least 1 car width away from that yellow line. But sometimes you can't when there's a car on the top side like we saw with Simon.
High side, that is Graham Rahal in the 15. And he is looking to turn a dismal season around today.
Team Andretti have 2 cars in the top 3 with Power running 2nd.
Continue to watch this battle side-by-side action. And Rahal is getting that high side to work early.
Exactly, Marty. Remember yesterday in the heats, he was actually making that high side work, went around Carpenter to take the win in the heat race, and he made it work then. He's also doing it now.
Continuing on that battle. It's the best one we have on the track.
They've been side by side for 2 laps, and neither one wants to give up.
Let's get an update on Graham Rahal. Rick?
Yeah, let's talk about what they didn't do, which is they didn't make any major changes to this car overnight. Not a big shock. A few minor things, but nothing major. And as you said yesterday, he was the only guy who was able to work that high line. But it's also important to point out he was able to work the low line. One of the passes he made was going down low. So he's content to stay up there when it works, but he can also go down if he has to.
Now, the more laps that Simon Pagenaud spends on the bottom of the track, the more he's going to be burning his right front tire, whereas Graham Rahal on the high side is taking less out of his tires, and over the length of this run, he will have an advantage.
Now we've got a battle going on for 4th place as you've got on-board action with Tony Kanaan, and that is Ed Carpenter on the high side.
Looks like he's going to complete the pass, but Ed's not going to give up. He's going to try and work the high line. And Kanaan smartly moves up, takes the air away from Ed's car, takes the lane away, and makes Ed just fall back a small amount.
So it's not just a question of owning real estate, it's a question of owning the clean air, because the car that's behind you doesn't know which way you're going to go.
Oh, and you know, Eddie, once a car takes your air away here, you've got something that's got a comfort factor for you, and then when that happens and your air goes away, the car wants to slide out from underneath you. So it takes you a lap or 2 to get your composure back.
So we're at a point now we should actually be talking about these tires. They have a lot of grip for the first 5 laps. then they lose a little bit of grip, and then after 25, it gets even worse.
You're looking at James Hinchcliffe. He's led every lap so far, and they go by at 18 seconds a lap. It's the second straight year that Hinch has led at Iowa. He crashed out last year. He doesn't want to do that again.
That's why we sponsor the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Look, it's IndyCar driver Marco Andretti.
Hey, kid.
Are you really a race car driver?
Yeah.
Did you know that IndyCars fill up with E85?
Of course, it's 85% ethanol.
You don't look very tall. Can you touch the pedals?
Yes.
Does your car go faster with the 85?
Yeah, ever since I've been using it in the IndyCar, I get better fuel efficiency and engine performance.
Can you burn rubber in that car?
Enter the Iowa Corn Red Carpet Sweepstakes before June 26th at iowacorn.org/redcarpet.
At Honda, we know you. We know how you like to move at your own pace and how you don't always see everything coming. Introducing a car that starts with you. The more powerful, more responsive, all-new Accord from Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Introducing a car company that's never made a single car. We took the power of a 9-year-old V8 and gave it the impressive handling of Firestone's Destination tire. Now, moms agree. Every milk run feels like a victory lap. So whatever you drive a Firestone. Get the tires and see turbo. Visit a participating Firestone retailer for details.
Your car. It's been your wingman, drum set, dining room, and best friend. Your getaway vehicle, baby maker, and baby soother. At Pennzoil, we know it doesn't matter what you do in your car. It only matters what you put in it. That's why Pennzoil is designed to give you unsurpassed engine protection, so you can protect your car and the memories made in it.
ABC Tuesday. Green Bay Packers Donald Driver.
What's up, baby?
Clay Matthews.
Left, right.
And super trainer Chris Powell.
Keep it going, Ryan.
Will help this boy change his life in one epic night. Yeah! Extreme Weight Loss, all new, Tuesday, 8/7 Central on ABC.
Let's remind you what's coming up on the calendar. Auto Plus NHRA New England Nationals, the first time ever in Effingham, New Hampshire, tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Our NASCAR Nationwide Series moves to Kentucky. What a race yesterday. Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That's on ESPN. The American Le Mans Series, the Northeast Grand Prix, that's Saturday, July 6th, 3 o'clock Eastern. That's on ESPN2. And don't forget, we're going to be July 7th, Sunday, noon Eastern on ABC with the IndyCar race from Pocono as we return for the first time since 1989. Boy, some interesting battles. As you saw it on side by side, it looked like Ed Carpenter was going to go underneath Marco Andretti. Let's take you back and show it. And I want to ask you guys, was this a block or was this going for the racing line?
Well, certainly had the momentum coming off the turn. He thought he was going to go high. Now he's going to go low. And then I'm not sure if Marco's spotter didn't tell him he was there or not. Didn't leave him enough of a lane. And you can see, Eddie, once he gets that air taken away from that front wing, the car moves up the racetrack. It took him a few laps to get his composure, and now he's back around.
When that happens, you lose about 200, maybe 300 pounds of downforce on your front, and the car just will not turn, so it takes a long time to get that back. But you and I also always debate on this. You call it polite, I call it being sensible. Doing that to a car that early in the race when you're passing him, it's not sensible because he can come back and do the same thing to you, and you can't spend the whole race trying to dodge bullets.
Well, and he probably will do, much like you and I did during our career.
Look at Graham Rahal. He's got the number one, Ryan Hunter-Reay, coming back on him, and there is Simon Pagenaud right in front. Now, this is 7th, 8th, and 9th that was in your screen.
And what we saw there, Marty, with Graham Rahal, he's got the car in front of him, Simon Pagenaud, getting that disturbed air off there, so he had to slow up a little bit, couldn't carry the momentum, which allowed Ryan Hunter-Reay to get a bit more speed. It looks like Ryan Hunter is working better on the lower line. He'll probably get underneath Rahal this time, but Rahal does like the top line. We'll see if he can make that stick.
And that third car right there, that black, white, and red trim, that is Helio Castroneves. He's only picked up one spot since the start of the race. His car has not come to him yet.
Well, but don't forget that he was only in clean air in the preheat yesterday. Didn't have to really contend with traffic. It's a whole different animal now.
I know this looks like a video game because you see these cars side by side. I know of nothing harder on an oval than trying to hold the high line when you have a car half a foot underneath you because there is no place to go. And you are relying entirely on that car holding its line that's next to you. Because if they don't, you're into the wall.
Rick, you've got more on Graham Rahal?
Well, just listening to the team talking to him, and one of the things they were pointing out, they were saying, yeah, that Ryan Hunter raced fast, but they said he's not fast off the corners. Stick with it, stay on that high line, you'll get him out of the turn each time. And as you can see so far, what they're telling Graham is working. He's got to stick with his line and not get rattled by that guy behind him.
Fastest car on the racetrack is the car on the right, the 20 of Ed Carpenter. He is now in third and closing quickly on Will Power.
Now, when we look at these two drivers, in this case, Carpenter has more experience than the Penske driver does when it comes on ovals. He spent most of his life on the short tracks in USAC. So right now, I put the advantage in Carpenter's hands, not in Power's.
Always a threat to win on any oval race. Everybody knows he doesn't really perform that well on a road course, but he does run his own team, and I think it's very difficult. Eddie, you were your own team owner. You know how difficult it is to own the team and also drive. So he's doing a tremendous job. Now starting to look on the low side.
Yeah, but he will play both of them.
To back up your point on Will Power, his third place finish last week at Milwaukee, his first oval podium since winning race number 2 at Texas back in 2011.
Ryan Hunter had to lift. Just ended up didn't get in the pass completed and pays the price for it.
This is Spider-Man against Captain America here. These two guys know what they're doing when it comes to an oval, and they will not give an inch.
Look how quickly, though, Ryan Hunter-Reay was able to get back up to speed.
Now he's going to try the high line. Remember, he was on the low side there for quite some time. Maybe time to work the high line. As you're mentioning, Eddie, if you're on the low side, you're going to take that tire off there. And the car on the low side there, they're passing James Jakes. Don't forget that he had that accident yesterday. So as you mentioned, Eddie, he's in the car that was just put together last night.
You have not missed anything up front. All this great action has been great because James Hinchcliffe is leading by 4.5 seconds over Ed Carpenter. That's why we've been focusing here. Stay with us. We're coming back after a word from your ABC stations. We are under our first caution, and you see the damage on the right front on Ryan Hunter-Reay's car. Here's what we have.
Ryan Hunter-Reay on the right-hand side coming through. Graham Rahal just in front of him. Goes to make a move. I think he's going to clip the rear wheel. He does. Ends up breaking the wing and is actually sitting on the right edge of the side pod.
Let's send it to Rick DeBrule.
Ed Carpenter brings that car in. They decide to make no changes. A little bit of a problem. It's a delay getting back out because of Anna Beatrice in front of him. Vince?
Kanaan has a water temperature issue, so they're going to pull the blocker and look for some debris. That may take this stop a little bit longer, but he's away. Jamie?
And James Hinchcliffe very happy with his car. Obviously had a 4.5-second lead. They changed tires and filled it up with Sunoco fuel, and he maintains that lead. Marty?
Yeah, Tony Kanaan loses 6 spots. They had trouble on the right front, and he was the same guy that had to clean out the intake.
You can't have things like that. If they're going to happen, you're better to have them at the beginning of the race, obviously, than in the middle of the end. But that just can't do that and have a chance to win.
Well, James Hinchcliffe did not want to see that caution. He had built up a 6-second lead. He has got that car dialed here early. Let's go back and show you Tony Kanaan's stop.
4 Firestone tires and then Sunoco fuel. Now let's watch to see if there's a problem on the the right front, which is on the left side for us watching, had a bit of a difficulty, and his job was to go and pull the blocker out, as it's mentioned, which actually stops some of the airflow going in through the radiator because of the overheating problem. So they'll take that out now, and hopefully the temperature will come down.
But the question is, they knew what temperatures they were going to run. There's a reason that engine went up in temperature. I don't know if that's going to solve the issue.
Vince?
Well, they've got multiple issues on that 11. Kanaan just radioed in and said his weight jacker is also stuck at level 10. So multiple issues. They took a couple of turns out of that front wing to help with his entry. And we also noted that they took that blocker off because of the water temperature rising. So a lot of concerned bodies here in this Tony Kanaan pit area. Let's go to Jamie Little. Jamie?
And Ryan Hunter-Reay in the pit box for the second time. They already changed that front wing out, but they wanted to take a look at it. The guys had Barabon tape in their hands. He said, we're not going to lap down, are we? And they said, nope, we just want to make sure we're good.
No, he will get back out and stay on the lead lap. So they are going to sweep the course to get the marbles off up high. As you can see, the sweepers there through turns 1 and 2. While we've got a moment, one of the most prestigious Grand Slams in tennis is coming to ESPN. See all the exciting moments from the All England Club, featuring the world's best players, including defending champions Serena Williams and Roger Federer. First round coverage begins tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. The championships, Wimbledon, on ESPN. It's also live on Watch ESPN. All right, we continue under this first caution. And right now, it is still James Hinchcliffe, the race leader. Stay with us.
Nothing compares to the luster of polished bare metal. Mother's knows metal. We've been polishing the way to a mirror-like shine since 1973. Our exclusive, patented metal polishing tools create the most effortless shine around. Together with our legendary metal polishes, they instantly buff away dulling oxidation, restoring brilliance, even in difficult-to-polish areas. Polish better, smarter, and faster with Mother's Powerball, Powerball Mini, and Power Cone.
There's a reason no one says easy like Monday morning. Sundays are the Warriors' day to unplug and recharge. What if this feeling could last all week? With CenturyLink as your trusted partner, it can. Our visionary cloud infrastructure and global broadband network free you to focus on what matters. With custom communication solutions and dedicated support, your business can shine all week long. CenturyLink, your link to what's next.
Critics are saying the 2013 Volvo S60 is not only worthy of competing with the Audi A4, the BMW 3 Series, and the Mercedes C-Class, it outright crushes them in nearly every subjective category. How do you say, uh-oh, in German? The 250 horsepower Volvo S60. Lease the 2013 Volvo S60 T5 for $279 a month or get 0% APR for 48 months.
We've lost entire cities.
What is that, Jerry?
Don't know how it started.
Life as we know it will come to an end in 90 days.
How do we stop this? People who move survive. This isn't the end. Not even close.
World War Z, rated PG-13, now playing.
A lot of people think sponsorship is just about a logo on the side of a race car. The National Guard isn't a sponsor. Keeping us safe at home while fighting a war abroad. The conflict doesn't end when they take off the uniform. Unemployment is a battle we can fight. They fight for us. It's time we fight for them. Find out how at roadmaptohelp.com.
ESPN's coverage of the Iowa Corn Indy 250 on ABC. Brought to you by Mother's High Performance Car Care Products, formulated for fanatics.
Well, the defending race winner here in Iowa has had problems early. Ryan Hunter-Reay just moments ago explaining what happened on the radio.
I just kept my foot in it behind Rahal. Got right up under his gearbox, tried to pop out. The thing just didn't. I was up under it too far. Just didn't even turn. And for, you can still get it back. Early days. Still 207 laps to go.
That's what makes him the driver that he is. He made a mistake, and he said, I made a mistake. Picked it all together, came in, got a wing. Now he's got a job to get through.
He's going to restart 21st. There are only 22 cars on the lead lap. Simona Di Silvestro and Sebastian Saavedra they're both a lap down. How about, let's check in on Dario Franchitti. He has picked up 7 spots since the start of the race. He's going to restart in 14th. The car may be coming to him a little bit.
Well, probably is enjoying it now, because yesterday he certainly wasn't, because he was at the back of the preheat and really didn't go any further. So it tells you that he's much more comfortable with the car because he can lean on it today.
And yesterday he almost got lapped by his teammate.
Let's get an update on another guy that's doing pretty well right now. How about it, Rick?
Oriol Servia, look at this guy. Steps into the National Guard car this weekend, doing well. The team says he was doing better in the long run. In fact, they really did not want to see this yellow come out. He was at the point where he was just starting to catch guys ahead of them. He was starting to say there might be a problem with one of the rear tires, and when they told him how fast he was going, he said, you know what, don't change a thing. Just leave it just the way it is.
James Jakes came in to top off. He is going back out. He is at the back of the field, but still on the lead lap. And you mentioned guys not wanting to see the yellow. How about James Hinchcliffe? He has led a total career laps coming into today of 40. He's led 50 today, so he's already doing a lot better than his career best total.
His average has gone up, if nothing else.
So it's going to be Hinchcliffe and Power, Carpenter and Andretti, then Servia and Pagenaud in row 3, Castroneves now in 7th, and Rahal in 8th. Now, again, you've got some lap vehicles that are going to be lining up, and they're waving off.
Debris on the backstretch.
We're hearing debris, as you heard it also on the radio, and there it is. They're checking in. So there's Simona Di Silvestro. Now, she's a lap vehicle, but the way IndyCar rules work, until we get inside 10 laps, she gets to keep that spot. You like that?
And I think that's putting her in a really tricky position, because you have a lot of cars around here. Scott, they're a lot faster than she is, and now she has to deal with that traffic. And there's nothing more difficult than trying to find a place to place your car.
Let's get an update on Tony Kanaan. Vince?
Hey guys, the weight jacker stuck on 10. Jimmy Vassar told Tony, hey, that's where it was 90% of the time last year, and we finished on the podium, so we're going to be able to work around it to get ready to go back green, Marty.
All right, thank you, Vince. As we get ready, they're coming out of turn number 4 on the inside. James Hinchcliffe, and you heard it, we're back to green.
Got one looking on your left side. 2 left.
We're going to try it 3 wide through 1. 4 wide. Oh, hang on. Whoa, and you saw the contact, and Dixon had to lift. What a save.
Man, it's like the freeway on the way to the office in the morning.
It went quickly from 4 to 3.
On board with Tony Kanaan. He's in 10th.
As you always say, Eddie, that's 4 stubborn guys driving in a race car, not going to take the foot off the gas.
And it just doesn't work when you get to the corner.
And there's Simona. She is getting run over by a number of cars. She just doesn't have the speed.
All she has to do is focus on the road ahead of her and not do anything drastic. Don't move to the left. Do not move to the right. Just hold your line, and they will find a way around you.
She continues side by side. Look at this. This is the 25 of Marco Andretti, the 77 of Simon Pagenaud. Let's go on board with Servia. He's got the best seat in the house for this.
What a job he's been doing. Remember, Panther Racing fired their driver earlier this year, J.R. Hildebrand, after Indianapolis, and there's a lot of drivers looking at that seat, and the team, John Barnes and group, are really looking to entertain different drivers, putting in different cars throughout the season to make a recommendation for next year.
Joseph Newgarden in the 67 trying to go underneath the 1 of Ryan Hunter-Reay, and that's Anna Beatrice right in front of Ryan. Here comes Ed Carpenter closing on race leader James Hinchcliffe.
And remember when we went to break, Ed Carpenter was the fastest guy on the racetrack at that point in time. Gets close to Hinchcliffe, has to back off a little bit because he loses the grip on the car, Eddie.
Boy, look at Ryan Hunter-Reay on the right side. He has his hands full. He finally clears Anna Beatrice. Now she's going to try the crossover.
And he holds his line. What he's doing, he's looking a lot farther ahead than Anna was, because he knows there's 2 or 3 cars up ahead of him that are changing lines, so he has to cue off of them. It's not only about where you want to put your car, it's about what's happening ahead of you. A for the air and B for the line.
Ryan Hunter-Reay gets up to 17th now as he goes around Charlie Kimball. And here comes Anna Beatrice underneath Kimball. We have got some great passing going on that deep in the field.
There, still there.
And this is at 185 miles an hour right now, just a foot away from each other. And for Anna Beatrice, who is a part-time driver in this series. Oh.
Still there, clear.
Okay, take a breath, come back and try it again in a lap or 2.
And the relief that you have when you're in a car, when you find a way to get that person off your right side, is enormous.
Nice job.
4-car freight chain. And then a little bit deeper, there is James Jakes trying to pick up a position.
Interesting, he was so happy with his car after qualifying yesterday when I spoke with him, and then he got into the preheats, ended up tossing it into the wall, said just made a mistake in turn 2.
This is a battle for 20th, guys. These guys are all over the track going after each other. And there's Sebastian Bourdais going underneath Newgarden as well. All right, let's go back to the restart. And remember, we were talking about 4 wide on board with Takuma.
Now, this is usually, Eddie, where you take your foot off and let it all sort of sort out. But he keeps his foot into it. And look what's happening in front of you. Look, nowhere to go. Dixon.
Now look how much information your brain has to process. This is happening at 180 miles an hour. A twitch of the steering wheel ahead of you makes an enormous difference to where you're going to place your car. He's still trying to figure out which is the right lane to take.
And you still get no sense of the turbulent air that these guys are experiencing.
But whenever there's an accident, the worst place to be is always up high. So it's very risky to be up there, but it looks like today that's the lane to go.
There you see Scott Dixon in the number 9 as he continues to try and move forward. He got around Alex Tagliani while we were on the replay. Put Dixon into the 10th spot, and there's Tags in 11th. We have knocked down 65 of the 250 laps. As we said, it's 18 seconds a lap, and that really goes by quickly here at the Iowa Speedway.
Well, Marty, goes by quickly, but as the drivers were saying earlier on the telecast, there is no time to rest here. A lot of the ovals that we did, Eddie, you know, at least you had a straightaway where you could actually reset and get ready for the turn. Here, it's only 3 seconds a lap where you're going straight. It's just so difficult just because of the high G's.
There was, Scott, we raced at Richmond. There was no time to breathe at Richmond.
Richmond was a 3/4 mile. This is 7/8. Ryan Hunter-Reay got around Dario Franchitti. Let's go back and show you exactly how that pass transpired. So move Hunter-Reay into 16th.
Keep the momentum coming out of the turn.
He's strong in the middle of the corner.
He is, and that's what you want to do. Try and carry the momentum through the turn. He was able to do that. Franchitti's car just started to get away from him. Boy, the Target cars have just had a difficult time here this year. We've talked about it earlier.
But this is what championship teams do. They take adversity. They kept themselves on the lead lap. Now they put it back in the hands of their driver, and he's moving forward.
And there was no whining from the driver. I made a mistake. Give me a new nose. Let's go out again.
He's picked up the 4 spots you see on the screen. Still got plenty of time. 182 laps to go. That is Tristan Vautier right in front of him in the 55.
Just to remind everybody, Hinchcliffe has a little bit over 1 second advantage of Carpenter.
Yeah, he is picking up where he left off before the caution came out. Look at James Jakes trying to go underneath Anna Beatrice. And again, this is for 19th on the racetrack.
You have to remember that the last time he was in a car, he was backing into a wall at about 160 miles an hour, and then he had to jump in it for the race and do what he's doing now. So he is learning what this car is capable of doing.
Vince, you've got more on James Jakes?
Well, and you got to give a shout out to the crew on that Rahal team as the leaders are coming up on Jakes, but they worked into the early morning hours to get that backup car ready, so it's amazing that he's out there at all, much less having something to work with.
Well, this is how good James Hinchcliffe's car is. He's getting ready to put the 7 of Sebastian Bourdais 1 lap down.
Interesting to see how good he is, and he is because he's able to come up to the car that's in front of him, seems to be able to maintain his line, drive high and low, Eddie, so he's got a good car in traffic right now.
He's keeping that Andretti record of having winning cars at this track very much alive.
Andretti Autosport has won here 4 times out of the 6 races with 4 different drivers. We go on board with Hinchcliffe.
This is where you talk about looking ahead, planning ahead. You might start to set the guy up in this turn here, turns 1 and 2 to make the pass down 3 or 4. Got over that bump, the car went up the track, got in behind the car in front, lost some air, and actually lost some space.
So everybody understands what's happening. He makes the choice of his line. Oh.
Great action with Elio Castroneves. Sorry to interrupt, but he's going around Oriol Serbia. Moved Castroneves up to 6. Remember, he started the race 11.
That's the way he runs his races. He's always thinking ahead, always trying to make sure every time he has a full tank of fuel and new tires, he takes advantage of it.
Let's get an update from Rick DeBrule on Elio.
Yeah, at that last pit stop, they just made a very minor wing change. That's all they felt they needed to do. Remember, the car ran very well yesterday, but the interesting thing to point out, because he was in that final heat race yesterday, he was at the front. He never had to pass anybody, never had to deal with dirty air. So this is the first time in a race situation that he's having to contend with other cars around him and in front of him.
And he's about to line up his teammate, Will Power.
And while all this is going on, we should point out Pagenaud has gotten around Will Power, so Pagenaud now in 4th. Power is back to 5th. And here comes Castroneves, as you said, in that 6th spot. The action has been fast and furious here at the Iowa Speedway. There's the battle for 8th on your screen. We're going to go side by side. You won't miss a thing. Hinchcliffe's lead over Ed Carpenter is 1.6 seconds. We have 173 to go.
The command has been given. Row 1, let me know. Row 1, hot.
Live in-car cameras. 4-in-1 Mosaic. Having your heart race as fast as theirs.
Hey, good for green.
That's powerful.
Come to the green flag.
Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
Mom, Frank ate the bones. No, I didn't. You ate the bones. No, you ate the bones.
Nobody ate any bones.
So Frank didn't eat the bones?
No, honey, Frank did not eat any bones.
Well, he's breathing on me. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are.
It's KFC original recipe without the bones. Freshly prepared white or dark meat, boneless and skinless. Try a 10-piece mixed bucket for just $14.99. Today tastes so good.
The drivers of Quicken Loans. Elio Castroneves, Ryan Newman, Will Power, and Tony Stewart. They are engineered to accelerate, engineered to dominate, engineered with muscle and brains, engineered for victory lane. For a home loan experience that's just as amazing as our drivers, call Quicken Loans, engineered to amaze.
Anyone have occasional constipation, diarrhea, gas, bloating?
Yes.
One Phillips Colon Health probiotic cap each day helps defend against these digestive issues with 3 strains of good bacteria. Live the regular life. Phillips.
It's brains.
I work with DNA.
Versus brawn.
What are y'all waiting for?
All new Wipeout ABC Thursday. This week, Kimmel serenades Channing Tatum.
Channing all over your Tatum.
Plus, Liev Schreiber, Miley Cyrus, Annette Bening, and Scandal's Tony Goldwyn.
Nicely done.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, 11:35, 10:35 Central. Weeknights on ABC.
Coverage of Major League Baseball continues tonight at 8 on ESPN. And the interleague battle with Adrian Beltre and the Rangers against Carlos Beltran and the Cardinals. Then tomorrow on ESPN2, Buster Posey and the Giants. They face NL West rivals Adrian Gonzalez and the Dodgers. That's at 10. Both games are also live on Watch ESPN. You saw it all on Side by Side as you see James Hinchcliffe right now looking to become the first 3-time winner this season. Let's go back and show you some of the action.
Close wheel-to-wheel touching. Did you hear that? I even felt it up here. This is why I'm glad that we're in the booth, Eddie, instead of actually down.
Do it again.
Excuse me.
You cannot keep doing that and get away with it. Graham has been very fast and very aggressive, but sooner or later, things like that will bite you.
I'm surprised Serbia doesn't have a cut tire either. There's Ryan Hunter-Reay as Takuma Sato is behind him. Hunter-Reay is now up to 12th. He got around Takuma.
You know what sort of a race this is, Marty? This is one of those races where you have 2 choices. You can either fight and keep going ahead, or just blink and start going backwards. There is no holding your own because they don't stay in the same position for more than 2 laps.
Alex Tagliani, the first car on your screen there, that's 98, the blue and black. Here comes the 9 of Scott Dixon underneath Will Power. That is for 9th on the racetrack. Power is dropping. Let's go back and show you what has happened to Power. In fact, he came close to the wall just a couple of laps ago.
Well, I can see he's using up a lot of track. Goes high, back down, low, and high again. He's up in the gray already.
Whoa.
Not too much grip up there. Servi ends up coming along, and then Kanaan does the same thing. But you don't retrieve yourself from up there very often, Eddie.
Not only do you have to figure everything out in your head, you've got to find a way to get your momentum going again.
Let's get more from Jamie Little.
Well, Will Power's really struggling, especially in turn 2. Tim Cindric, his strategist, told him, use your weight jacker and figure out how to get up and off turn 2. So he's doing all he can right now. Keep that car going straight. Marty?
Now, we knew that was going to happen with the tires. We didn't know which car was going to start losing its grip. And it seems that Will Power's setup is not really that good on these longer runs, where it looks like the 2 Andretti cars, which are first and second, are just pulling away from the rest of the field.
And Scott, he has one other issue. In the back of his mind, he knows he's crashed out of this race the last 2 years here.
And he's, as you know, he's a road course specialist, a street course specialist, and he's had 1 win on the ovals, but he is always behind Castroneves on the ovals, and you see Carpenter right now really on the high side battling around. This is where it's so difficult to try and get past the guys in front of you when you got two cars up there, and they're going to pay the price for it right now because Rahal slides underneath, takes advantage of the slowness of Carpenter because he got held up from those two cars in front.
Rahal's up to fourth.
We've been scratching our head about Team Rahal and especially Graham, why he hasn't done well. This is actually the first race this year where he has really driven with the anger that we all know he's capable of driving with, and it's an awesome race.
Pagano also in this mix, Vince.
Well, Pagano certainly has been one of the raciest all day long. And remember, he was so strong here last year. Started 25th, finished 5th. As you got 3 wide behind Pagano, the tire pressures have gone up higher than what they would like on this race car. That has slowed their times down a little bit. They'll make that adjustment at their next pit stop in about 20 laps.
Right. Why does it slow the time down?
Well, you lose grip. There's an optimum pressure that you have to have in the tires, and if you don't get it just right, the balance of the car will change. But the worst thing you can have is have a right rear tire in a track like this is growing the pressure, because you're just going to start losing balance, and it takes away from your confidence. So it has to be absolutely perfect.
Right now, it's Hinchcliffe by 1.4 seconds over Marco Andretti. Graham Rahal is third. Simon Pagano fourth. And now Tony Kanaan has moved into fifth.
Half back. Tire box looking inside.
Yeah, Hinchcliffe got slowed up from traffic in front, and Charlie Kimball looked underneath him for a moment.
Now remember, Kimball is showing 1 lap down, so that just puts him back on the lead lap.
That's what he wants to try and do. He sees when Hinchcliffe has a falter, he wants to take advantage of it.
And there goes Ryan Hunter-Reay around Will Power. So now move Hunter-Reay into the top 10.
Now you're going after Dixon. Dixon's your next guy.
Now let's put that in perspective. He was dead last of the guys who are on the same lap. Now he's in the top 10. And that's how you win championships.
And that is so hard around this racetrack because you're looking for a 1/10 of a second every time you go around here and a few hundred RPMs to come out faster than the car that's in front of you.
But he's got a golden race car. He's got an Andretti car, and they're good around here, as you can tell from the first two. But Hinchcliffe and Andretti have the same car, same team that he has.
Look at the numbers. Picks up 10 spots since the restart. And here comes Graham Rahal on Marco Andretti down into the corner. Will they make it?
Oh, an old family rivalry coming back again between when it used to be Bobby Rahal and Michael Andretti, and now the next generation's going at it.
This is for second.
This is for more than just second. This is for family honor.
Yes, you're right.
I'm sure at their dinner tables they often heard something being said of the other family that probably was, gosh, I wish we had won that one.
Well, it's been about 63 laps since the last round of pit stops. That's how fast they have flown by. And we can tell you Dario Franchitti has just gone a lap down. Stay with us. We'll be back after a word from your ABC stations. 140 laps to go, and if you haven't been with us, you have missed a lot of great racing here at the Iowa Speedway. There is your leader, James Hinchcliffe. He's been the only leader, and normally that would sound like a real dull race. He doesn't know all the excitement he's missing behind him. His lead is 2 seconds over Graham Rahal, but Graham Rahal has put on a show. And here we go. Here's some more action on the track. That's Oriol Servia in the 4. On the high side, Tony Kanaan. That's a battle for 5th, guys.
Well, I think the IndyCar Series has done a great job with finding the right balance between downforce and the tire to be used here at this racetrack. We were a little concerned coming into it, but right now these guys have something that's very racy. And the neat thing about it is that if you get too close and make a mistake and don't time it right, you lose momentum, and then you'll pay for it with cars coming from behind you and passing you. So you have to make sure you do a great job as a driver looking forward.
Let's go back and show you while we were away. Watch this pass by Graham Rahal.
There's not much room there. There's even less room there, and he just keeps on going, and he makes the room.
And Marco knows exactly how much room he left him, just enough to get a lane through if he could be brave enough, and he was.
Takuma Sato's in, Rick.
Yeah, Takuma Sato not having the weekend that they hoped they would have. They did have to change an engine yesterday. As a result, they had a 10-spot penalty. Coming in, no significant changes, but sending him out, but just not where they want to be this week.
There goes James Hinchcliffe around the slower traffic again. More cars coming in. Marco Andretti is making a pit stop. Vince?
There's Simon Pagano in the 77. Pagano, they just need an air pressure adjustment, no other changes. Jamie?
Marco running all the way down the #1 pit box. Sunoco Fuel 4 sticker tires. Ooh, that was so close. And they made a front wing adjustment.
So green flag pit stops. The first round was under yellow. Vince, you're up again.
Tony Kanaan, remember, he has that weight checker that's stuck at level 10 that they're working around, but it's been okay so far. No adjustments being made on the 11 of Tony Kanaan, a former winner here at Iowa.
Right side of your screen, you see James Hinchcliffe is also going to make a stop here. It's been 77 laps since his last stop. As he makes the turn down, Ryan Hunter-Reay is also pulling into his pit box. And here comes our race leader, Jamie.
James Hinchcliffe was going to have a different setup than his 3 teammates until right before he got in the car. They made an adjustment to the wicker bill to run just like the team. You see Will Power right behind him. Good stop for him. 4 tires stop, air pressure adjustment for Will Power. James Hinchcliffe thrilled with the car. 4 tires, filled it up with fuel, and no changes on that car.
There is Scott Dixon. He has also made his second pit stop of the day. As he gets back out. Right now, Justin Wilson is your race leader as he stayed out on the track, but he's got to stop. Here comes Alex Tagliani in. Rick?
Alex Tagliani talking yesterday, he said, you know, when they've got a lousy car, they seem to do well on track. When they got a great car, they have bad luck. Haven't come quite to them this week. A good qualifying run, but they haven't lived up to it.
Justin Wilson has peeled off. He heads for his pit box. Nominal stop. 4 tires. He's back out.
And this battle's been going after these guys had pit stops. Marco has been hounding the backside of Graham Rahal in the minus machine. Was not able to get it done, but they're running at a very good clip, a good pace right now.
But they have 2 separate lanes. Marco is taking the middle lane and Rahal is taking the high line. And if you look in turns 1 and 2, right halfway through the corner, Rahal's car gets a jump on him by about 15 feet, and he carries it all the way into 3.
Now James Jakes is making his pit stop. He did not actually officially lead the lap as Hinchcliffe came back around while he was pulling into his pit box. So we've still only had officially 2 race leaders. There is Hinchcliffe as he is coming up on Tristan Vautier.
And Rahal has him in his sights. He can see him, and that is a great motivator when you can see the car that you're trying to catch. It's always very difficult to somebody tell you, Scott, you're 6 seconds behind somebody and you can't see him. But when you get him in your sights, there's that extra motivation. But he has a lapped car between him and Hinchcliffe.
And I did notice just before they started to pit that James Hinchcliffe started to have problems coming up behind track and was not able to get past the cars in front of him as quick as he did earlier in the stint. Now he's going to try on the inside. Will he get it done?
But there's no room. This is the worst thing that could happen for him right now because Rahal is going to catch up. He's stuck in a group and he's got to pick him off one by one. And he's living on the bottom of the racetrack, whereas Rahal is living on the top of the racetrack. And it seems easier to get by him.
You heard the call for halfway as 125 more laps to go. Hinchcliffe, you get his telemetry as he is now 1 second in front of Graham Rahal, but he cannot seem to get around Tristan Vautier, who is 1 lap down in 15th.
Yeah, and Graham's running 3 miles an hour faster in the laps than James Hinchcliffe is. Here's Ryan Hunter-Reay. He continues his march forward. They would be making adjustments in the car and also during the pit stops. Tire pressures and pit stops, and you heard the drivers talk about weight jackers and roll bars. Those are the tools inside the car that they can make adjustments with the handling of the car and hopefully improve it.
And all of those changes start from a driver's request. So you could have a car that's good and change the tire pressure by 3 pounds, and now you have a car that you can't drive anymore.
2 guys that were up front a while back are now 11th and 12th, Will Power and the 20 of Ed Carpenter. Carpenter's tires fell off at the end of the stint. That's what brought him back.
Yes, but now he's got to find a way to fight his way back. And what they would have done, they would have figured out what part of the car was not working. Was it the front or the back? And tried to address that. So this time, they'll do better and then make it better again.
Rick?
Well, let's think about this. When Ed was coming in for that first pit stop, there was a debate about whether to put wing in or take wing out. Ultimately, they decided to leave it where it was. The team decided they made a mistake on that first pit stop. They should have changed it, like you said. At the end of that run, he was way too far off. And now that they've made the change, he's got to figure out how to work his way back up.
Well, one guy we need to check in on, and if you're a Dario Franchitti fan, you're not going to like this. He is now 1 lap down in 22nd position. So they picked up 5 spots for him after the first round of pit stops, but you're a multi-time champion. You've won Indianapolis 3 times.
What does this feel like? Well, it feels terrible because your car's not working. At this time, the car feels like it's on top of the track, not biting into the track. Listen how much he's off the throttle. Off the throttle, then he rolls back onto it. There's no commitment. About ready now to be lapped by James Hinchcliffe, and he knows that he is the leader, and what he's trying to do is just keep the speed up, but he's already 2 laps down. Now about to be 3 laps down, Marty.
Yeah, this will be 2 laps officially at the stripe.
And this nightmare is not over. He has a long way to go before he can jump out of the car and think about the next race. So he's got a lot of laps.
Takuma Sato now closing on Will Power, and Justin Wilson. That's 12th, 13th, and 14th on your screen.
And meanwhile, Rahal is right behind Hinchcliffe.
Hinchcliffe, your race leader, has led 131 of the laps run so far.
Now, Hinchcliffe and Rahal, like I said earlier, have a different approach to this racetrack. Hinchcliffe is living on the bottom of it, and Rahal is living on the top. We're going to see which works better in traffic.
Well, Hinchcliffe, somebody's looking out.
About to hit the wall.
Oh, man. Vautier just saved it. I thought you were going to hit the wall there for a second there.
I'm getting dizzy just trying to keep up with all this.
It's like you're a nervous passenger on the drive in this morning, too. I mean, what's up to you today?
Don't get me started on you two in a rental car. They argue about everything.
Yeah, I always tell Eddie, though, it's my mistake. He's wrong. So we just go forward from there.
All right, let's show you what happened to Tristan in the 55.
Well, with the car that's in front, does he end up collecting a little speed, do you think, Eddie? The car just goes up the track, over that bump, and that wiggle is such a big save, loses momentum. You know, Simon Pagenaud says that this is a young rookie that certainly has a ton.
Oh, no. Alex Tagliani has spun it. And we're waiting. Caution is not out yet.
He's got the flag in his hand.
They have not called for the caution yet. Now it is coming out. So our second caution for Alex Tagliani, who has spun. And there you see Tags unable to get the car to move. Let's show you what happened.
Well, it looks like he's up going in the gray. See that? The car went from being in the black where all the rubber is, then it got into the gray, started to walk up the road, just sort of rubbed against the safer barrier. Didn't seem like it did that much damage. Locked the brakes up and came down on the track. Luckily, Eddie, he did not get hit by somebody coming through the turn.
I want to pay him an enormous compliment, because in those cases, it's so easy to just hit with the front of the car. He managed to get the back to spin around and go back down the track, but you're lucky. He's very lucky.
Oh, look what was going on just before, and that's how Vautier ended up on the top side.
Now, that's the reason why you have to be very careful when you're up high, because if you go half a foot off that line, you end up on those marbles, and that's why they couldn't get the cars to come back down, because there is no grip. That's where all the garbage lives.
Yes.
And just before the yellow came out, Will Power in 13th went a lap down. That's right. We only have 12 cars shown on the lead lap right now.
Now, for Alex Tagliani, when he gets in the pit lane, did he do damage anywhere on the suspension? As we're here looking at the track, and you can see little bits of rubber there on the top, and that's what the sweepers are out there trying to clean off. And as you can see, Alex is driving away. Little bits of rubber are sort of coming up from the tires. Now he's wiggling the car to see if there's any suspension damage. We'll make a report back to the team. They'll physically look at it as soon as he gets into the pit box and see if he can continue.
110 laps to go. Do you pit? You've only pitted just 25 to 22 laps earlier.
Well, on an oval, if you're pitting under green, everybody else pitted under yellow, you're going to go down a lap. So there's going to be some people that are going to risk that, but I think I'd be coming in and taking advantage of the yellow.
A lot of teams are laid out. You can see they're already working on trying to diagnose if they have any issues on that right front. We did see the scuff marks as the right side did brush the wall when Alex Tagliani lost it.
And even if they tell you the car is okay, Marty, and Eddie, you know this, you go back out on the racetrack and there's just that doubt in your mind that it's okay, especially here on the oval.
We do have some takers. That was Charlie Kimball. Let's send it to Rick.
And there we've got Ed Carpenter coming in, Sunoco Fuel. Remember, they want to get the car tuned in just a little. We got to make a big turn, and that's not an easy turn to make as you come out. You saw how he went around Ana Beatriz, but once again, they're trying to figure out how to work back up to that position they were in that first stint.
Well, about 13 cars were laid out, only 4 takers on this first go, and you can see the work continues on the 98. Now the question is who else is going to come. Now, remember, Will Power is a lap down. He's coming in, and the 10 of Dario Franchitti is coming in. routine stop. And let's go to Jamie.
And Will Power been working on his car to get it to his liking today. He was telling me yesterday how exhausting this racetrack is, just dripping with sweat. Good stuff for Will Power. 8.4. They filled it up with Sunoco fuel and no adjustments on the 12.
Tony Kanaan also came in, and there you see Sebastian Zavedras. Zavedras had a long day already. He's 21st, 2 laps down.
A good rule to do, to follow on pit stops is just do it. When in doubt, do what the leader's doing, and the leader is staying out.
All right, so it looks like all the front runners are going to stay out, which means it's been between 24 and 27 laps since they last stopped. Remember the first go-around before we had that round of green flag laps, they were going well into the 60s. So we'll take a break here and let everybody to catch their breath, both on the track and you at home, as you get one more look at Alex Tagliani's spin.
That's why we sponsor the Iowa Corn Indy 250. Look, it's IndyCar driver Marco Andretti.
Hey, kid. Are you really a race car driver?
Yeah.
Did you know that IndyCars fill up with E85?
Of course, it's 85% ethanol.
You don't look very tall. Can you touch the pedals?
Yes.
Does your car go faster with the 85?
Yeah, ever since I've been using it in the IndyCar, I get better fuel efficiency and engine performance.
Can you burn rubber in that car?
Enter the Iowa Corn Red Carpet Sweepstakes before June 26th at iowacorn.org/redcarpet.
Introducing a car company that's never made a single car. Legendary durability. Impressive mileage. Firestone tires. So unstrap the saddle, as these old stallions are ready to run. Again, whatever you drive a Firestone.
At Honda, we know some people are never happy with the way things are, and are always dreaming of how they could be. Because things can always be better. We like those people. They think like us. Introducing the best Civic sedan yet. Made possible by Honda.
Honda, proud partner of the IZOD IndyCar Series.
Your car. It's been your wingman, drum set, dining room, and best friend. Your getaway vehicle, baby maker, and baby soother. At Pennzoil, we know it doesn't matter what you do in your car, it only matters what you put in it. That's why Pennzoil is designed to give you unsurpassed engine protection, so you can protect your car and the memories made in it.
From the creator of CSI comes a murder mystery competition.
Somebody here is a murderer.
Where winning is all in the execution. Whodunit series premiere tonight, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Let's give you the Mothers race recap as Ed Carpenter was charging early, but boy, it got awfully tight as Marco Andretti came down. Then Brian Hunter-Reay has trouble as he clips the back end of Graham Rahal's car, has to make a pit stop, restarts 21st, and has literally sliced and diced his way back into the top 10. Troubles for Tony Kanaan. Watch the right front. It jams for a moment, extends the pit stop. For Kanaan, he is going to restart in 11th. The great racing that we have seen has been, well, just like that. 4 wide at one point, and Scott Dixon had to get out to save it. And then watch this. Not once, but twice they will touch as we go back to green flag racing. James Hinchcliffe, Marco Andretti, Graham Rahal, the top 3.
And Rahal and Andretti have picked up their battle just where they left it. Rahal on the outside, Andretti on the inside. And Hinchcliffe is already gained about 20 feet.
A total of 12 cars on the lead lap. Alex Tagliani is still on the pit lane. He is now coming back out. Everybody is still running. Tags will be 14 laps down. Got a quick glimpse of E.J. Vizo there. We haven't talked much at all about him today. Thought that he might have a better race than he is having. He is running in the 8th spot, but he just hasn't been able to move any further forward at this point.
Well, he's had some great runs this year, been very fast. I think even about Indianapolis and Probably should have been on the podium quite a few times, but just not had some lucky weekends.
Points leader Elio Castroneves right behind him there. You see Tagliani just motoring around. I don't know if he's going to make minimum speed. They may be yanking him back in.
Well, the closing rate is so fast here sometimes.
Whoa,
and it's
why
such
is he doing that?
Single
Why doesn't he
lane.
get off the track?
Well, he may have to, because I'm sure race control will probably tell him that.
I mean, I don't mean to put Simona down here, but she blew past him, and she is having a terrible day. 3 laps down. Her car is woefully underpowered.
But what Tags is trying to do is go out there and bring his car up to speed evenly to see if there's something going on with the car. That's the only way you can really tell if there's been damage. But they'll give him a couple of laps, and if he's not up to speed, they'll tell him to come back in the pit lane and work on the car.
I have a lot of respect for him as a driver, but that's the wrong time and the wrong place to be doing that.
Elio Castroneves on the high side around E.J. Viso, moving up to 8. As we mentioned, 150 laps completed. Every car still running on the track. Ed Carpenter on the high side, Viso down low. So again, Viso going the wrong direction as he drops another spot. The caution is out.
Must be for debris.
We've got debris on the racetrack. They're saying on the front stretch here.
Debris on the front straight.
And we can see it from our booth right after the flag stand.
About 200 feet beyond the finish line. There's other. That looks more like rubber, but there's also there to the left. You see it. There's a piece of metal that they want to go get. That's it. Boy, that would be not good to run over.
So in those few laps that we saw, nobody really had anything for Hinchcliffe. He actually pulled away a good 200 feet.
Yeah. Well, he has been the best car since the start of this race. While we've got a moment here in our third caution, let's remind you about what's coming up on ESPN. The Auto Plus NHRA New England Nationals. That's tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And then the next stop for the NASCAR Nationwide Series, that's at Kentucky Speedway. That's Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. The American Le Mans Northeast Grand Prix, Saturday, July 6th at 3 o'clock Eastern. That'll be seen on ESPN2. And then we're back at Pocono with the IndyCar Series, Sunday, July 7th. Join us on ABC at noon Eastern. So our third caution, we've run 26 laps under caution. We can tell you that Alex Tagliani is back on pit road, and they're going to get one more chance probably to get that car up to speed. And you can see they're taking a look at a number of things. In fact, it looks like they may be calling it a day.
Well, the driver's out of the car, so that's a good sign that he says, you know what, I don't think we need to do this, guys. In a road course, you can do that. On an oval, Eddie, as you know, it's the risk-reward ratio doesn't really pay off.
Yeah, there is no reward in that when you're 30 miles an hour down around everybody else in the middle of a race.
So that'll be our first car out of the race of the 24. Now, coming into pit road is Dario Franchitti. We'll let you know he is 2 laps down right now in 21st position. They are just struggling all weekend long. Rick?
Yes, in fact, they made some big changes yesterday for the heat race. It didn't go well. They tried to make another big change coming into this race, and once again, it has not gone well. He's been on the radio constantly talking about the problems that he's having, and not the least of which, he's also having a problem with the radio, hearing the strategist, so it's not a good day right now for Dario.
Well, his first 2 trips here, he finished first. His last 2, he was out, as you mentioned, in the pre-race. He blew up the engine before they even took the green flag, and here he is struggling woefully, just trying to finish out the race. Let's check in on Oriol Servia. Remember, we talked about some incidents about potential blocking, and let's listen on the radio.
I just want to put a note out there. Both Castroneves and Rahal have been blocking a lot out here. Definitely acting in a reactive way all the time. 10-4, I'll let him know.
All right, so he's complaining about Castroneves and Rahal.
Acting in a reactive way. That means they're not taking a position and holding it. And the drivers' meeting, they talk often about that. This is a very, I wouldn't say it's a gray area, but it's a very difficult area to be precise in saying who is blocking and who is not, especially on an oval with so many lanes.
Castroneves right now is running in the 8th spot. Right ahead of him in 7th is Oriol Servia. You're going to have to go all the way up to the front row to catch Graham Rahal. He is running 2nd. There he is alongside of James Hinchcliffe.
Another good restart here. When I clear, you take the line you want into 1.
There you see the points as they run right now.
They were talking to each other.
Look at Ryan Hunter-Reay, 6th place. Remember when he was 21st after the wing damage?
which really meant he was last of the cars on the lead lap.
All right, here we go.
Honda power plant versus Chevy. Right now, Honda got a good jump.
And they're going to try 3 wide again through 1 and 2. Way up on the high side. That was Newgarden, and he almost got to the wall. Still side by side for the race lead. On board with Hinchcliffe.
Still outside. Still there. Go to right rear. Keep pushing.
Now the spotters are probably the most important piece to this puzzle.
Still outside. Still there.
Oh, man. You had
185 miles an hour.
I know this looks like a video game, but it's not.
Oh, that is oh so close. Hinchcliffe maintains the lead, but Rahal did officially lead a lap, so he's our 3rd different leader, and now Will Power is slowing. Maybe he got a little gray. We'll check to see, but he got passed.
I was liking his off strategy of coming in when we had that other yellow because I thought that might work for him, but if the car's not fast enough, it won't work.
Potential issues for Takuma Sato as he is slowing on the track and heading for pit road.
Pit lane.
That's the end of their race.
We can tell you while this was going on, Ryan Hunter-Reay got around Simon Pagenaud. And let's go to Rick.
Yeah, a little while ago, Sato was complaining about the engine. They said it was just running flat. Remember, they had to change the engine yesterday, or he had to take a 10-position penalty, but it just never seems to have come up to speed. They've been having some problems. Finally decided the motor is the issue.
So as on the right side, you continue to see Ryan Hunter-Reay now into the 3rd spot with Pagenaud and Marco Andretti. You just saw Marco for a moment there in the screen. They are all chasing James Hinchcliffe, who has a ½ a second lead over Graham Rahal after that nice 3-lap duel.
We've been focusing on Hinchcliffe and Rahal, obviously, and Hunter-Reay is now, like you just said, in the 3rd place, only 1.4 seconds behind the leader.
Well, what we've also noticed is we've had comers and goers, depending on who made the right adjustment at every pit stop.
And he's obviously made the right one. And right now you have an Andretti car in 1st, 3rd, and 5th.
Let's check in on Tony Kanaan as he is in the 10th spot, 5 seconds back. And, you know, they had that slow pit stop, but he's still working his way as much as he can.
He has just dispatched about 3 or 4 people on that restart. He's always strong on restarts. And right now, coming up behind Vautier, watch to see if he goes on the inside. He might get it done. He might not. But, boy, he has been fast. Vince Welsh.
Well, remember they had that issue earlier where they had the debris in that was causing the temperatures to rise. They had to take the blocker off to clear that. But otherwise, other than a front wing adjustment on that first stop, no changes at all for Kanaan. He's been on the podium here 3 years in a row, and he's got a car capable of doing it again. The big question, can he get through all the traffic to get there?
Oh, Vince, he just got chopped right there trying to make a run on the inside. And actually, Vautier ended up diving down underneath Dixon, took the air away from Kanaan, and now Kanaan has to retreat, regroup, and take another run at it.
And while you're watching all this, we'll update you, Takuma Sato fans. He is still on pit road, now 8 laps down, and it doesn't look good. Here comes another run by Tony Kanaan as he's going to go underneath the 9 of Dixon. Makes it look easy there. So move Kanaan back into the 9th spot. Now remember also that Tristan Vautier.
Did you hear that, Matt? Did you say it look easy?
Yeah, he did make it look easy. I didn't say it was easy. I said he made it look easy. There's your leader.
I'm the first licensed IndyCar driver with diabetes to finish the Indy 500. I live in the fast lane. I need on-the-go insulin delivery. That's why I use Novolog FlexPen. FlexPen is pre-filled with my fast-acting insulin. I dial my exact dose, inject by pressing a button. FlexPen is insulin delivery my way.
Novolog Insulin Aspart rDNA Origin Injection is a fast-acting insulin used to control high blood sugar in adults and children with diabetes. You should eat a meal within 5 to 10 minutes after injection. Do not use if your blood sugar is too low or if you're allergic to any of its ingredients. The most common side effect is low blood sugar, which may cause symptoms such as sweating, shakiness, confusion, and headache. Severe low blood sugar can be serious and life-threatening. Ask your healthcare provider about alcohol use, operating machinery, or driving. Other possible side effects include injection site reactions and low potassium in your blood. Tell your healthcare provider about all medicines you take and all of your medical conditions. Get medical help right away if you experience serious allergic reactions such as body rash, trouble with breathing, fast heartbeat, or sweating.
FlexPen is there when I need it, just like my pit crew.
Ask your doctor about Novolog FlexPen, covered by most insurance plans, including Medicare. Find your copay at myflexpen.com.
Mom, Frank ate the bones. No, I didn't. You ate the bones. No, you ate the bones.
Nobody ate any bones.
So Frank didn't eat the bones?
No, honey, Frank did not eat any bones.
Well, he's breathing on me. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are.
It's KFC original recipe without the bones. Freshly prepared white or dark meat, boneless and skinless. Try a 10-piece mixed bucket for just $14.99. Today tastes so good.
Erica had a rough day. There was this and this. She got a parking ticket. And she forgot to pay her credit card bill on time. Good thing she's got the City Simplicity card. It doesn't charge late fees or a penalty rate, ever. As in never, ever. Now, about that parking ticket. The City Simplicity card is the only card that never has late fees, a penalty rate, or an annual fee, ever. Go to city.com/simplicity to apply.
Research suggests cell health plays a key role throughout our lives. One-A-Day Men's 50 Plus is a complete multivitamin designed for men's health concerns as we age. It has 7 antioxidants to support cell health. One-A-Day Men's 50 Plus.
Boy, you saw it on side-by-side as slower traffic caught Graham Rahal, and it has allowed James Hinchcliffe to open up about a 1.8-second lead.
And I hate to sit up here and criticize anybody driving as well as he did, but that was definitely the wrong decision to try to go high on somebody that was already high.
All right, let's go up to speed. See how far we can go with all the action we've had. Jamie Little is first.
And it's been great action, especially for this guy, James Hinchcliffe. He led 19 laps ever at this track before today. So far, he's dominated, led 178 laps. And in the second part of this race, the only complaint he had was a little bit of understeer in traffic. But as long as he's out there in that clean air, he loves this car, right?
Well, let's talk about the guy that's been chasing him for quite some time, and that is the car of Graham Rahal. That's not that one right there. That you can see is Ryan Hunter-Reay. But Graham Rahal, the other yellow car back behind him, they have a bit of a secret weapon. Remember, they hired Eddie Jones in the off-season. Eddie Jones from Andretti Motorsport. Andretti Motorsport, the team that's doing so well here and has won 4. In fact, Eddie Jones was the guy who engineered Marco Andretti's victory. So the guy who has some of the engineering behind this car is the guy who has done well at this track.
Anna Beatrice is slowing, and you saw how Graham Rahal was closing on the number 1 of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan had actually gotten around Graham because of when he had to lift. She does make it, so we will stay green, but a tough break for Anna Beatrice as she had a pretty doggone good race going. Meanwhile, there's Graham as he has gotten around the number 1 of Ryan Hunter-Reay, so move Rahal back into second.
And he passed Hunter-Reay on the inside for the first time going into 1 and 2, so it looks like he doesn't like being down there, but he's found a way to recover from that almost accident he had 5 laps ago.
So I think we just set a record for the shortest up to speed. I think we made it through 2 cars before something major happened on the track and we had to interrupt. Sorry, guys. Down on pit road. Look at this. I mean, Graham Rahal now has a car that looks like he can go anywhere as he goes low again. All right, let's go back to yesterday in heat race number 3 as Elio Castroneves and Oriol Servia came awfully close. Remember, Servia was complaining on the radio a little bit earlier about blocking. And then, this is just a moment ago.
Always looking in your mirror, being aware of where the guys are. Here he goes, a nice draft. Eddie goes on the inside and, pardon me, coming through.
That's not really blocking. That's just not holding your line.
But deja vu.
Marco Andretti's in the pits.
Marco Andretti pulls in. It has been 73 laps since his last stop, so we're going to be doing these under green. So Andretti is heading your way, Jamie.
Well, his car was just not good. He was eager to get into the pit box and make some changes. He slipped back to 11th when he came off the track. 4 tires here. They'll fill him up with Sunoco fuel as they hold him, make adjustments, and hope that this will help him move through the pack. Meanwhile, you see Scott Dixon on pit road as well. Vince?
Meanwhile, James Hinchcliffe stays out on track. His lead is now 4+ seconds. It has been 73 laps since he last pitted. But guess who the fastest car on the track was last lap? The man running in second place, Graham Rahal.
Hinchcliffe is really running a race that he's controlling. People have gotten close to him, but nobody's actually attacked him yet.
Simon Pagenaud peels off from his top 10 spot. Vince?
Simon Pagenaud scored his first career win earlier this season at Detroit, and he has been top 5 all day today for Sam Schmidt's team. They have made very minor adjustments to this car. Just a slight air pressure adjustment on that last stop. No chassis or wing changes at all, and Pagenaud is away, 8.1. Let's go to Rick.
Graham Rahal brings the car in. He likes the way it's going. In fact, they're not even going to make a front wing adjustment to send him back out for his last stint. Jamie?
Biggest mover of the race, Ryan Hunter-Reay, restarted 21st early on, worked his way to second, but he had a vibration. He said he could not hang on. He was desperate to come in and get this stop to help that car and get some new fresh tires.
And he gets out in front of Graham Rahal. The question will be how long that will stay that way. Here comes E.J. Vizo. He was in the top 10 as well. Jamie?
And E.J. Vizo been working on this car every stop today. Another front wing adjustment here. They'll put on some new tires. He said that last set was not good. And your leader, James Hinchcliffe, who has dominated this race, his teammate on the right-hand side as he makes his way down all the way to the number 2 pit box. What a flawless day it has been so far. As he pulls into the box, they count him down. The car has been great all day. No need for adjustments. 4 tires, they'll fill it up. Let's go to Vince and Elio.
Castro-Neves brought the car in. They did not make any adjustments on that last stop because the car was running so good. Only adjustments on the very first stop. This is the section. He's got to pull it all together and see if he can move forward and get a few more points on that championship.
And you all saw the delay that they were having on the left front. Whoa, as you see Ed Carpenter take evasive action to get around Tristan Vautier. Vautier is lap traffic. But we'll sort this all out and see how much Hinchcliffe has given up because of the delay on the left front during his pit stop. Stay with us. We'll be back after a word from your ABC stations. Coverage of Major League Baseball continues. It's tonight at 8 on ESPN. We've got the Rangers against the Cardinals. And then tomorrow on ESPN 2, we've got Adrian Gonzalez and the Dodgers. They're up against Buster Posey and the Giants. Both games are live on Watch ESPN. Here we've got a great battle going on as the final round of pit stops still yet to be completed because Ed Carpenter has stayed out. He is our 4th different leader of the day. We've had 6 total lead changes. Quite honestly, most of them have been through pit lane. And you can see Carpenter getting ready to put Dario Franchitti down again. Dario has had just a horrible day. The 2-time winner here has been struggling mightily. Ryan Hunter-Reay and Will Power, who has been slowing. And this is the second time we've seen him get in the way of somebody that just broke their momentum.
When the car doesn't work, though, you try to push it as hard as you can, but once it breaks free, it starts to go up the racetrack, and that seemed to be what happened. And that is, I've had that many times, Eddie. Sometimes the car works, and you don't have to work as hard to lead the race as maybe you do when you're finishing 15th and the car has been a bear.
You're absolutely right, but in that case, it was just being in the wrong lane at the wrong time.
Second place, Tony Kanaan has peeled off for his final stop. Vince?
Kanaan wasn't going to pit for another 10 laps, but he reported a vibration, so they weren't going to take any chances. This is going to be a short fill, only enough fuel while they put the tires on. The tires are complete, the fuel is out, and Kanaan is going 6.8. They hope those fresh tires help the vibration, Marty.
Well, we'll find out as the laps continue to wind down here. It sounds like a lot, 39 to go, but at 18 seconds a lap, they have been flying by. Carpenter's team is laid out. Now, it has been 71 laps since his last pit stop.
So once Carpenter and Wilson pit, Hinchcliffe will be leading Hunter-Reay, who will be leading Rahal, and we're right back to where we were 3 laps ago.
Tristan Vautier goes around. Now, remember, Vautier is lap traffic. He is 3 laps down, but he's on fresher tires. He has already made a stop, and you heard the call, pit this lap. And he does peel down onto the lane, access lane, makes it towards pit road. 60 miles an hour is pit lane speed.
Wide open, nice and steady, right
Rick?
Yeah, the advantage right now, no one else coming in. You can see they're just going to do a very short splash. That'll save them a couple of seconds. But the length of time it takes to come in, make this stop, and go back up is what's going to hurt them. And they've got a problem on the right rear. You see that? They put it back up, put it back down, send them out. That cost them all that time they were going to save with the fuel splash.
And there goes James Hinchcliffe by.
That got him.
So you're right, Rick. Everything they gained by staying out, they lost because the right rear jammed up. Let's go a little deeper. There's Wilson and Servia going side by side. Wilson has to get down low because he is our race leader, but he needs to make a stop.
And that's really hard to get down in that right lane when there's cars around you, because you can't exactly just lift your hand up and say you're coming in.
No, we need to pit. We need to pit. Copy that. This is lap. This is lap.
That was good. Pit in two, pit in two. No, we need to pit. We're about ready to run out of gas.
I'm the one driving this thing. I'm coming in.
And he has that on his dashboard so he can see when he has to pit.
Well, you can see the difference in speed. 15 miles an hour. He was down to 161. Vince, it's all yours.
Wide open, tires.
Well, it's been an eventful day for Justin Wilson today. They haven't had a lot of changes to the car, so that's the good news. The bad news is they just haven't been able to get it up to where they want to put it because of the traffic. The car hasn't handled as well in traffic as it has on its own. Same thing a lot of teams have faced here today in this Dale Coyne machine. The 19 knows what it's all about.
And you can see James Hinchcliffe go flying by the start-finish line. Now with 32 laps to go, he has been phenomenal today. His lead over Ryan Hunter-Reay is 3 seconds, 5 seconds over Graham Rahal.
Well, his car has remained balanced all day long. That means he hasn't got understeer, the car hasn't pushed, the car hasn't been loose on him. The balance seems to have been there. He did report a slight amount of understeer at one point in time, but right now there's battle for third going on between Graham Rahal and Tony Kanaan. They're picking it up, and
Kanaan is not somebody you want to have by your side going around the corner, because he just will not lift off. That's why he goes so well on those restarts. And in this case, you're just going to get behind him, and if you can run with him and have another go at it, he will. But just to put in perspective, Hinchcliffe's lead on Hunter-Reay, Hunter-Reay cannot even see him on the track. That's how far ahead he is.
But this gives you an idea of just how good Graham Rahal's car is. Remember, Rahal pitted 27 laps ago, Tony just 10 laps ago, so he had fresher tires and could not get it by him. All right, James Hinchcliffe, his lead is now 4.7 seconds over Ryan Hunter-Reay. Could it be a 1-2 podium finish for Andretti Autosport? We'll go side by side. Stay with us to find out.
Like metal sticks to a magnet, Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 sticks to the road. With magnetic ride control that responds to road conditions hundreds of times faster than the blink of an eye. Precision handling, born from precision thinking. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
Hey everybody, this is James.
Ooh, he can't be James. I'm James.
Okay, Jimmy then.
Oh, he's Jimmy.
Jimmy. Tall James?
You're not that tall.
How about mediocre Jim?
Dry skin Jim.
Jim Socks.
Weird Jimmy.
Becky.
Jimmy Cheeseburger.
Jim, hey.
Baby hands Jim.
Jim Banzi.
A guy Jim.
Restraining order Jim.
I don't think that's taken.
No, not taken.
Hi,
restraining order Jim.
Need the right name? Find the domain that works for you at GoDaddy.
I mean, I haven't actually lost any weight, but I feel skinnier, you know?
Not really.
Your friend's a rate sucker. Her bad driving makes car insurance more expensive for the rest of us. Try Snapshot from Progressive. Snap it in and get a discount based on your good driving.
Stop paying for rate suckers. Try Snapshot free at Progressive.com.
Inside's yours. Keep pushing here, bud. That's turn 4, spotter. Turn 4's clear.
Streaming 4-in-1 Mosaic.
Inside. One push to fast left. Be smart here.
Live pit crew chatter. Riding shotgun from green flag to checkered. That's powerful. Download IndyCar 13 now, only from Verizon.
Give me your street circuits.
your ovals. Give me your road courses and your cathedrals of speed. Give me drivers who live to put it all on the line and cars unlike any other. Because this is America, and here we race IndyCar.
In 2 weeks on ABC.
The action is still going strong. Tense battle between Graham Rahal from Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing right in front of Tony Kanaan, the battle for third, but it's also closing up front. James Hinchcliffe's lead is now down to under 3 seconds. Let's give you an idea of just how far back it is to Ryan Hunter-Reay as they cross the stripe. And there is Ryan. Now, right in front of him is Scott Dixon. Dixon is 2 laps down, and we've got a report from Vince Welch. They've been banging the rev limiter, and that is the reason he has fallen off the pace, and nobody can figure out what's going on.
But in Hunter-Reay's position right now, he really wants to have a driver like Dixon that acknowledges that he has a faster car and he's going for win, because he will do just what he did. He'll leave him room, Scott, to go by. And that's not really the case for the cars that are following him, because they are not really in sync.
You know, it's a gentleman thing to do, because at some point in time, actually, Dixon might need the same favor repaid to him. So that's a great sportsmanship type of way to do it.
10 cars on the lead lap. We have a total of 3 cars out of the race, Beatrice, Sato, and Tagliani. Let's talk to the man who may go 1-2 in this race. He owns these cars. How about it, Jamie Little?
Well, he's calling the shots for Ryan Hunter-Reay. But today the story has been all about James Hinchcliffe and his domination. What is your impression of the race that he's had today, not knowing what they had today?
James doing a great job in the GoDaddy car. And it's a big race, too, because it's GoDaddy's hometown. So really proud of the job he's doing. Real proud of Ryan coming back from all the way from last. And it's going to make a show out of it. He's actually catching James as we speak, so it's going to be interesting.
He's got his hands full, but James Hinchcliffe right now looking for his first ever oval win.
And he has more than doubled his total laps led in his entire career. He's led 212, came into this race leading 99 in his career.
So if you want to know how much time is left, multiply 13 times 18 seconds. That's how much time he has left that Hunter-Reay has to catch Hinchcliffe. That's not very much.
Best battle right there. Graham Rahal right in front as we go on board with Tony Kanaan.
You know, guys, one thing that might make the difference in this battle, Kanaan's tires are 17 laps fresher than Graham Rahal's. And as the run goes, tires will be all that much more important. So keep an eye. He might be able to take care of and take advantage of that fresher Firestone rubber that Rahal has.
He's closing on him, but he had to lift.
Okay, no, Graham is starting to change his line.
Yeah, no
I think
kidding.
I'll try the bottom line this time.
That's right.
And that's his prerogative. He can do that.
Oh, yeah. He knows it.
And when he did that, look how much he gained, because he took all the downforce off the front of Kanaan's car and he had to come off the throttle. It takes 2 laps to get back up to speed again.
So what Tony has to hope for, but I don't see it up ahead of Graham, is some traffic to turn around and maybe even that out and make Graham have to make a decision, but doesn't look for that.
One guy who does have traffic, race leader James Hinchcliffe, coming up on Simona Di Silvestro. He's just gotten around Dario Franchitti.
But all those spotters up there, Scott, are negotiating, aren't they? They're going over. Hinchcliffe's spotters going up and saying, look, we're in the lead. Let us go by if you can. And people are starting to move out of the way, as they should do.
Simona now 7 laps down today. It's just been a horrible day for her. And Dario Franchitti as well. He is 4 laps down in 20th position.
8 laps to go. Or is it 8 laps? 8 laps to go.
And there you see now, Ryan Hunter-Reay has got to negotiate all this, and he is jammed up.
That's the end of his chance to catch Hinchcliffe. That's it. He's boxed in.
It's traffic time on the highway.
That is all lap traffic, all 3 cars around him. He's got nowhere to go.
That's frustration, guys, right then, because you knew your car was starting to come in, getting a little bit closer each and every lap, but with only 7 laps to go, now coming on 6. That was the race right there.
I think Captain America should be pretty happy with his race though today. He was dead last, and he's going to finish second.
Comes back from 21st after having the early damage to the right front ring, and then comes back, and look at this. Just as Vince pointed out, the fresher tires as Tony Kanaan is able to get around Graham Rahal, but still a great day for Rahal. He may miss the podium, but he's in 4th. after the struggles that team has had all year.
What a great race.
This has got to feel like a major victory to them.
They will learn a lot from this, Scott. They'll take what they've learned grip-wise and go to the next race.
But also, right now, you've got Carpenter starting to bite at his heels. He's getting close.
Tony Kanaan won back in 2010. In 2011, he was second. And then last year, he was third. And right now, it looks like it could be 4 years in a row. He will make the podium here at the Iowa Speedway.
And Hinchcliffe has a 2.1 second advantage on Hunter Ray.
There is Ed Carpenter. He is trying to close on Ray Hall. That would be for position. So there you see fourth and fifth in your screen. Simon Pagenaud is another 2.5 seconds back. He has run a strong race. He is in sixth. As we said, only 10 cars on the lead lap. The laps winding down quickly now. 18 seconds a lap. This time by now 2 laps remaining. Hinchcliffe's lead is down to 1.3 seconds.
And he has a gaggle of 3 cars ahead of him, about 200 feet ahead of him, and they're going at it for position.
These two still battling for that spot. There is the white flag. And the difference for James Hinchcliffe. He holds on here. It'll be the 5th different winner for Andretti Autosport, as there goes Ed Carpenter underneath Graham Rahal. So the tires may be giving out on Graham's car as he gets bumped back to the 5th spot. Here comes James Hinchcliffe taking the win, his 3rd of the year.
Take care of the motor.
Ryan Hunter-Reay, Tony Kanaan, Ed Carpenter, and Graham Rahal in what was a spectacular day of racing at the Iowa Corn Indy 250.
I think the biggest compliment you can pay to Andretti's racing team this year is that everybody, 3 out of the 4 drivers they have won races. They just, when they have good cars, they win. And here they did it again.
Michael should buy this track. I mean, 7 races now. He's won 5 of them with 5 different drivers.
With all the prize money he's won here, he might have a share in it.
First win on an oval, as you see the man that has done a miraculous job with this team. He moved from his home in Nazareth, Pennsylvania to Indianapolis so he could be in the race shop every day. It has paid huge dividends. As here is James Hinchcliffe, the first 3-time winner on the series this year, Scott.
And you said to him on the radio, take care of your motor, because you know drivers love to do burnouts. But he's got to use this motor for a few more races, and he doesn't want to have any damage done to it.
Now that was one heck of an execution with a perfect car and a great team. Michael should be euphoric that he's managed to get so many drivers into the winner's circle. And when you compare to what Penske has done this year, they're just behind.
Remember, we used to say it was the top 3 teams, and it went to the top 2 between Penske and Ganassi. And now Michael's back on top. You say the top 3, but he's really on top by himself.
Well, you mentioned, you're right, absolutely, because Helio Castroneves finished 8th. Will Power was 3 laps down in 17th. And then you look for Dixon, he finished 16th, and Dario Franchitti finished 20.
Did you say a Penske finished 3 laps down on an oval?
Yes, Will Power. Hey, Will may think that was a plus, because the last 2 years here, he crashed.
What a win. What a tremendous win.
The mayor of Hinchtown.
His own town? He even owns a town.
Yes, he does. It's right there on the internet. And it'll be buzzing with activity tonight. Let's go to Rick DeBrule.
Standing by with Ryan Hunter-Reay. He's got to be disappointed that he finished second, but you still have to be impressed. I mean, considering what happened to you in that race, you are the last car on the lead lap, 21st, and you still came back to finish second.
Yeah, I worked so hard to catch back up to James, and then lap traffic. You know, it's one thing if you're a lap down, but if you're 5 laps down or 6 laps down, just making it tough on the leaders was uncalled for. But hey, we came back from 22nd or whatever we were to finish second. Definitely had the car to win the day. Just made a mistake there, trying to get by Graham, keeping my foot in it, and just the front had no grip on it when I turned to pop out and pass him. So easy mistake. We had a tough weekend to come second out of this thing. I'm pretty pleased with that. Good job for James, and good day for points in the #1 DHL Chevy. Definitely pretty happy about that.
All right, congratulations. Remember, those points are very important.
There you see James Hinchcliffe. You know, he mentioned the points. Guess what the difference is, guys? 9. You know what that is? That's the 9 points Helio picked up for winning heat race #3. yesterday.
This championship is wide open.
It certainly is. And it's 55 back to Marco, who is in third. And Hinch getting all the congratulations down in victory lane. There's Michael Andretti moving in, other members of the team. A 3-time winner this year, a first time on an oval. Jamie?
As he gets unbuckled, the 5-point harness, taps the car, and slowly makes his way out. James Hinchcliffe drove just about the most perfect race you can on an oval. We'll walk around over here on the other side. Got a lot of guys to hug. Mr. James Hinchcliffe. There were so many unknowns, a different rules package, a different tire, the weather. Nobody knew what to expect. How did you guys nail this setup as perfectly as you did?
You know, we just try to go off experience, and it all goes to the team. You know, we have a great track record here, but this year was so many different things with the day race, and, you know, everything was different, but we took a bit of a risk. We wanted to make sure the car wasn't going to understeer because that kills you in traffic, and, man, I can't believe we led that whole thing, and the guys were awesome in the pits. Here in Iowa, I mean, one of GoDaddy's hometowns. There's a big office of GoDaddy here. They started here, and just I can't thank Bob Parsons and Barb Richter, Blake Irving, everybody at GoDaddy enough. Chevy Power was awesome. The Firestone tires held on awesome. I'm a little bit nervous because my family's not here, my girlfriend's not here, and I feel like I'm going to get in trouble that I won without them here. But hi guys, love you, and man, I'm just so proud of these boys. This is awesome.
Hey, they were there for the other wins. 3-time winner, first time on an oval. Marty?
Yeah, they'll be happy to know he has moved up 3 spots in the points into 4th, just 66 markers back, and it'll be a good celebration going on in Hinchtown tonight.
Woo! Sign a waiver?
Waiver?
Two seats, one for you and one for racing legend Mario Andretti. The fastest seat in sports sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to start an IZOD IndyCar Series race at shophonda.com.
ESPN's coverage of the Iowa Corn Indy 250 on ABC. Brought to you by the Iowa Corn Promotion Board and Iowa Corn Growers Association. Iowa Corn is proud to sponsor the Iowa Corn Indy 250 that is powered by ethanol.
Well, the celebration continues down in Victory Lane, but let's talk to the man who finished 3rd. How about it, Vince?
Well, it's entertaining. Tony Kanaan climbed out of the car and gave team owner Kevin Kalkhoven a hug and said, "I'm racing for my job." I think you secured it with that performance today. I know you had some early issues with temperatures and so forth, but overall, pretty good race today for you.
No, it was, Vince. I think, first of all, the weight jacker failed. And then we had the temperature issue, which we lost 5 positions in the pits. And track position was so crucial today. And after that, all we did was we tried to get off sequence to have better tires. So we pitted on day yellow because there was only 3 positions to lose from the back of the field, and we put new tires on, and that gave us a big advantage at the end.
And Ray Hall a little too wide for your liking there late in the race?
Yeah, I think, I got to watch the tape again, but I definitely think he was making it wide, which is fair enough. It was for the podium, but at times it got really close. But it's racing. I'm not going to complain. We'll see. What goes around comes around.
Tony Kanaan 3rd today. Let's get the other side of that with Rick DeBrule.
I was going to say, standing by with the guy who was wheel to wheel with Tony. He was talking about how close it was. You were saying it was close, but that's kind of the way it was all day.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I'm really proud of this Midas Blue E-Cigs guys for working hard, because this has not been easy for us. And, to get a top 5 feels good today. But, yeah, for sure, racing with Kanaan there, nobody was making it easy. And, it's tough here because you know that there's like one good line, which is the high line. A couple of guys got the bottom working in 3 and 4. I was one of them at one point. The last stint, I struggled a little bit with the rear of the car. I couldn't quite keep it down there. I was getting pretty loose, but it was close with a lot of guys. I mean, Hinchcliffe, when we were wheel to wheel after the restart, he flat out put me in the gray. So we had it more than once. I mean, it went all ways today.
All right, once again, Graham Rahal. Last night his dad said, I hope he can come away with the top 5. He said he wanted more, but at least he's in that top 5.
Yeah, Rahal and Pagano, 5th and 6th, the only 2 Hondas in the top 10. The other 8, all Chevrolets. Will wrap it up and head for Pocono when we come back. Let's remind you one last time what's coming up on the calendar. Auto Plus NHRA New England Nationals tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And next Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, it's the Nationwide Series. That's at Kentucky. And the American Le Mans Northeast Grand Prix will be Saturday, July 6th, 3 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Let's talk to the man who finished 4th. That's a career best for him here at Iowa. How about it, Vince?
Well, and a great run for Ed Carpenter today, and if not for a slow stop there on that last stop, it might have even been better than 4th. How good was that car at the end today, Ed?
I mean, the Fuzzy's vodka car was, other than the second stint, we were one of the fastest cars on track. We lost a lot of position the second stint. Had a bad stop at the end. That's the way it goes sometimes. I've made plenty of mistakes this year, and it's going to happen at some point in time where we can't be perfect in the pits all the time. So a little bit of a bummer because we could have had more. I think we had a shot at a win, but, can't be mad about 4th. So happy to get out here with a good run. Thinking about our friend Dave Rodriguez at home who lost his father. So, Dave, hope you're doing all right.
Thanks, Ed. Well done today. 4th today, and you can't ever complain about a top 5 at Milwaukee, Marty.
And take a look at the points. Remember those 9 points that Elio picked up for winning the heat race? That's the difference right now. And you can see 55 back to Marco. James Hinchcliffe all the way up into 4th now, just 66 points back. Tony Kanaan into the 5th spot. Simon Pagano moves up 1 as well. Quick final thoughts?
Well, I think about the competition we have in the series right now. When you think about the finishes here today, 7 different teams in the top 10 tell you how competitive this series is.
It was obvious to me that Penske and Ganassi just didn't make the cut from this race, and who knows what's going to happen going ahead.
Okay, so let's talk about Pocono. It's our last stop for us. At first time that we're going to be back there since 1989. What do you expect?
Very fast. A lot about aerodynamics, and it's going to be up in the air like everything else has this year. Why should it change?
Well, a 2.5-mile track with 3 turns that are completely different. Your car can't be perfect in all of them. There's going to be guys that are fast in some turns and slow in the other. It'll be great competition.
Who do you think has the momentum right now heading into this stretch as far as for the championship?
Oh, I got to say it's Andretti. Anybody with the Andretti team is going to run strong, and we've got to look at Hinch, but it's Penske's hometown.
Our next race, July 7th at Pocono, noon Eastern on ABC. For our entire ESPN ABC crew, this is Marty Reed. Till we meet again. The Iowa Corn Indy 250 is green.
Outside, 3 wide, 4 wide.
Hang on. Touching. I even felt it up here.
Green.
I know this looks like a video game, but it's not.
James Hinchcliffe taking the win, his 3rd of the year.